very close. How's that? That should work. Oh, got me on notification there. What's going on? Jim K, good morning. We're a little bit early this morning. Oh. There we go, that's better. God, I can't see the notifications on there, too far away. Morning, Jim. And Bob Kinney, good morning, afternoon, evening. I don't know how you guys are, but cheers. Hang on, my phone. I'm using the S20 at the moment, so it's doing some weird stuff. Okay, that's got a little close. Oh, bear with me, technical issues. There we go, that's better. Let's see what's going on now. How's that? Is that going to work? I think that's going to work, isn't it? Great stuff. Well, first of all, how's the picture quality? Because we're using the S20 and it's running off its own data, not through the Wi-Fi. I did get a new Wi-Fi router, which you saw on the last live stream. And that is plugged in, but I rang Vodafone and they told me, you don't have 5G in your area, Mr. Young. What's going on? Why are you asking us? So we're still on, I don't know, 4G, 3G? I've no idea. So if there's any improvement in quality, it's down to the new phone and not the internet connection. Anyway, Jim K is on board. We've got Bob Kenny. Good morning, Bob, again. Jeremiah Lilli, good afternoon from California. I bet it's a bit warmer there than it is here. Cheers, Jeremiah. Jim K, it's 4:50 p.m. Yeah, I've tried to, normally it's 9 a.m. Sometimes it's 9:30 if I have a bit of a sleep in. And this morning, to make up for it, we're a little bit early. So I thought I'd catch those that are really dedicated to the live stream. Now then, hanging in there, Bob. Good man. Brandon. Hello, Andy. Good morning, Brandon. W.S. Alik. You set me a challenge there, mate. Thank you. Good morning. Hello. Al Alish. No, Al Alish. I guess I'm not first tonight. You're not. And it's morning here. And I've been up for about, I don't know, 45 minutes. Bob says it's clearer. So it's clearer what, on the audio or the visual or both? Let me know, Bob, because it's good to have some feedback. From what I can see on my laptop, it's actually pretty good. But it may be because everybody else is still in bed and not using the internet in New Zealand. Alan Cook. Hi, Andy, and how are the girls? There's always a question about the Tool Girls, and rightly so. In fact, let me just unplug this and we'll go for a little wander. I'm going to turn the camera around. We'll do a couple of little walkabouts today. There you go. Right. Oh, apologies for the mess in my toolbox. Okay, well, first of all, we'll do a little panoramic of the workshop. And there's been some changes. Now, this isn't all the changes. There's going to be a lot more. But I've moved the Tool Girl cabinet. I was going to put some more of that racking here, but then over on this side, I'm going to be, I'll come to what I'm doing later on, but there wouldn't have been room for that cabinet on that wall. Let's leave it at that for now. Okay. Oh, and I filled up the shelves. How's that look? You like that? Oh, that's pretty cool. It works. Good job. Yeah, look, that's what time it is here. It's 10 to 9. Oh, and we still get some flickering, look, don't we? Yes. Got to change those LED lights. No good. Right, I'm back. Bear with me. Is that going to work? Oh, it's pretty clear on my laptop. It's very good. Okay, who else have we got? What else is going on? So, Tool Girls. Yes, I have been in contact with Tool Girl Holly and Tool Girl Lilli. And they're both very much looking forward to coming back to the workshop, without a doubt. Now, hang on. I wonder if oh, there we are. Look, we're back. Notifications are back. Excellent. Well done, phone. Good job. Yes, I'm glad I'm back as well, actually. It's been a very, very busy week, to be honest. So Tool Girls, yes, they're going to be coming back in the near future. I've just got to set some dates, and we don't still yet know what lockdown level, or it's not lockdown anymore. We don't know what level 2 involves here in New Zealand. We're currently still in level 3, and I am still in lockdown. Once level 2 is decided, if we're going to go into level 2, that decision will be given to us tomorrow, with a view to starting level 2 on Tuesday. But the critical thing for me is it may well be that Jacinda, our Prime Minister, our leader, decides to have sort of some areas of New Zealand remain in level 3, maybe where those 16 hotspots are, and some areas, go down to level 2. Now, if that's the case, then you won't be able to drive, well, you will, but if you do, you go from a level 2 area into a level 3 area, my interpretation is you're going to be stuck in that level 3 area. You're not going to be allowed to move, because then all of a sudden you're within a lockdown zone again. So depending on how common that is around New Zealand and how big or small these areas are, will depend whether or not I can actually travel back to Auckland and do my job from the office, or go off and visit various motorcycle shops around the country. I just don't know. It's a bit of a concerning time, but there's no point in worrying about it, because there's nothing I can do about it, basically. Now then, let me just scroll back a little bit. Right. HFTG. I can't read that. Oh, hang on. I think we've got a delivery. Bear with me. Yeah, that's that. I like it. Can't get them out finished. Yes, that'd be cool. Thanks. I am back. Sorry, I've got a delivery. Look, some cigarettes. Can't have a day without cigarettes, can we? Now, where was I? Sorry, interrupted. Yes, HFTG. I can't read that. I'm sorry, mate. I've no idea what it says. I'm not even going to try. But good morning to you, HFTG. Stoitsche Geber, hello Andy, I'm glad you're back. Yes, I'm glad to be back too. And this week has been a very, very busy week in the workshop. The main project was that racking, which went on for a long, long time. I mean, I didn't want to rush the job. And the filming went on for over maybe a 5 or even a 6 day period, because I have my day job to do, try and fit that in around being in the workshop. And I wanted to make it, this is the final job, that racking, that shelving is not going to be moved anymore. It's done. That part of the workshop is finished to all intents and purposes. And I've been working on the 10 tools racking. Well, I started on that yesterday actually, and I'll show you what I've been doing and the plan. In fact, I even drew a really cool, yes, I know it is. I drew a drawing, did a technical drawing for you. So we'll have a little look at that as well. Give you a heads up. Now, Jim K, looks clearer to watch on my 10 Pro. Excellent. It does look clearer to me as well, actually. I'm very pleased about that. Keith Graham, hey Andy, cheers from Muskoka? Muskoka? Is that right? I don't know. Cheers, Keith. North of Toronto. Well, my daughter, Charlotte, eldest daughter, is in Toronto, or was. No, she was in Toronto. She's now moved to Halifax. There you go. So she shouldn't be too far away, I think. Bob Kinney, video is clearer. Thanks, Bob. Sarah Ryan, good morning, Sarah. Where in the UK are you from? Well, Sarah, I don't recognize your name, so I think this is the first time you've been on the live stream, or at least commented. Sarah, I was born in Kendal in Cumbria, and very quickly whisked back to Yorkshire. So I do consider myself to be a Yorkshireman, and a North Yorkshireman. I used to live in or outside York in a place called Wilberforce, a little village, very cool. And then we moved to a very smart place called, well, actually smart, old, lots of history, Sheriff Hutton, outside York. Richard III had one of his castles there. It doesn't look too good now. It's in a bit of a state of disrepair, but I lived there for quite some time and thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's where I really had my first shed, my first workshop. Well, our first and second, actually, because I built a big one. And then I moved up towards Pickering, Scarborough area, and ran my own business up there. So, Yorkshire. I've been in New Zealand for 11 years, Sarah, so I won't be going back, don't worry. Now then, where are we, Sarah? Right, George, good morning, George. Hello, Andy, all good. Yes, thank you, George. Pleased to hear that you're all good too. James Elliott. Jeez, there's loads of comments. Hang on. I've messed up again. It doesn't auto scroll sometimes. James Elliott, good afternoon from West Virginia. I think it's absolutely incredible how these live streams can get us all over the world instantaneously. Isn't it a fantastic opportunity and experience to be able to do this kind of stuff now with modern technology? You know, what do they call me? Generation X, I think I'm from. I was born in 1972. At a time when mobile phones didn't exist, internet didn't exist. If you wanted fun, you went outside and played in the garden, made your own thing. But yeah, very strange, weird, really cool that, you know, anybody can do a live stream and have a bit of fun and talk to people all around the world, and we can join in on stuff, which is nice. You can ask some questions. Bob Kinney, audio is good too. Well, that's great, because on my old phone, my S6, sorry about the color of the phone case, by the way. They only had red ones left. I wanted a black one, but anyway, such is life. I'm on a new phone now. Now then, Kill Switch BB, 5 to 10 in the UK. 5 to 10 in the evening. Thank you, Kill Switch BB. Appreciate that. James Haynes, hello Andy from VA, USA. VA. Where's VA? Virginia? I don't know. I'm not that up on USA places. Tell me if I'm right, Jim. I think I am. WS Alik from Iraq. Good morning, or evening, or afternoon, whatever time it is there. Ollie, just finished my HGV mechanic apprenticeship in England. Well, that's a fantastic achievement. Well done. Got to wait 3 years now, and then I'm applying to move to Australia as a diesel mechanic. Do you have a video about your move to New Zealand? I don't have a video. It's a little bit controversial, to be honest, because I left the UK under a bit of a cloud. It was the end of 2008. The economy had crashed. My business was struggling tremendously, and I made a decision just to get out. And I drove 6,000 kilometers across Europe in my Nissan Patrol with a big trailer, massively overloaded. The plan was originally to ship out of Turkey, but they wouldn't let me in. Very strange. I kept all my tools in ammo boxes on the trailer bed. And when they saw the ammo boxes at the border, well, they thought they had ammo in them. And their guns came out, and I was, well, apprehended and taken upstairs and questioned. It was only when they actually inspected what was inside the boxes that they realized they were just hand tools. But anyway, ultimately, we ended up in New Zealand, and I've been here just, I don't know, nearly 11 and a half years now. Wow, time flies. As regards coming to Australia for a job, I'm pretty confident you'll find one pretty quickly. Diesel mechanics are hard to find, and they do pay pretty well. I do have a couple of friends actually that which were students at Unitec, who both moved to Australia and got jobs and got settled down and did a great job over there. So if you want to send me an email, andymechanic@live.co.uk, I can forward that to those two lads, and they can maybe give you a few pointers as to what you need to do to get into Australia. How's that? Simply Diagnostics. Hey, here we go. Hi, Andy and everyone. Good morning. How are you? Good to have you on board. Keith Graham, very clear video and audio on my iPad. Well, that's fantastic. I'm really pleased that we've got an improvement. Obviously, with us being in lockdown, I couldn't go into a Vodafone store and play around with an S20 Ultra, whatever it is, to see what the camera stuff was like. I read a few forums and bits and pieces before I made the decision because they're a very, very expensive phone. But things are looking pretty good. This is the first time that I've actually used it in anger. I've played around with it, in front of the telly a little bit and trying to set my apps up and various passwords and bits and pieces. But this is proof of the pudding, people. What you're telling me now, which is fantastic. It's good to have an improvement. Kill switch level 2 means you can go out and buy a fresh batch of beer. It does. We actually can still go shopping in level 3. Mrs. Mechanic popped out and bought me some cigarettes. Should have been out this morning, which is fine, but it's very limited what you can and can't do at the moment. The government have been talking about what level 2 is going to involve, although it's only a basic framework and they haven't really gone into any great detail. My job when I'm looking after the dealers, the motorcycle shops around the country, I can be away for a whole week and visiting many, many different dealers, staying in lots of different hotels, going to lots of different pubs and restaurants and so on. So there's a hell of a lot of human contact. And the underlying theme with this whole preventative measures that they're putting in place is to restrict contact. So it doesn't really fit very well with even, or with the underlying theme of what we're supposed to be doing. Now then, but yes, beers. I have got some beers. I've got some Hagen in the fridge at the moment, I think. Alan Cook, I've been fixing radio-controlled electric touring cars. Very cool. So they're the model ones, like little Tamiya ones and stuff. They are awesome little cars. Good man. Sarah, I teach mechanics in the UK. Well, that's fantastic, Sarah. Good job. I always recommend your channel to my students, especially the Honda Jazz Autopsy. It's a fantastic video. Thank you, Andy. It is it is a cool video. I'm very, very pleased that I did that video and very, very pleased that I was able to capture that engine just at the right time before it went for scrap. And it brings in an awful lot of the diagnostic element of working out what went wrong with the engine, why did it fail? And in that particular case, knowing the history of the engine, the history of the car and its usage, really helped to steer us towards what we expected to see inside that engine. And it's my most popular video. Even Hannah, Tool Girl Hannah, with her new shirt, didn't beat that on the views, and it still continues to be a popular video. So I'll try and do more like that. I will. It was good. I enjoyed doing it as well. And believe it or not, it didn't take that long to film. It was only a day's job. Now then, bear with me again. God. Right. Almost. Here we go. Right. WS Al Iraq. 12 a.m. from Baghdad. 12 a.m. So that's midnight. Is that midnight? It's midnight in Iraq, in Baghdad. Okay. Ollie, I'm from Ripon, by the way. Ripon, near Harrogate. I've been to Ripon plenty of times. I used to go to Brimham Rocks. That was a cool place to go as a kid. Death-defying, but cool. Wish to go. I'd like to go back there again sometime. It'd be very nice. Bring back a lot of memories. So I used to take my kids there quite often. Daniel Black, hi from Banbury. Banbury, is that in Essex? I'm going from memory now. Tell me where it is, Daniel. Banbury. I'm assuming that's the UK. It might be a Banbury somewhere else in the world. Carl Brandon, is that George Mac Flat Tracer Builder? What? Oh, Flat Racer Builder. Is that no? I don't think so. Elaborate. I don't know. Alan Cook, and one of the cars is 21 years old. I remember when I was at school in York, it was actually one of the private schools. We were reasonably affluent back then. When Dad was paying the bills, and a friend of mine, one of my classmates, brought in a Tamiya model car, and it was I was engrossed on the complexity of the suspension systems and the just how well the whole thing worked, and the suspension was fantastic. You could do jumps with it and it would just absorb the impact. It was really cool. Jim Haynes, Virginia. Was I right? Did I say Virginia? No, I didn't. I didn't say Virginia. I said something else, but it is Virginia. Thank you, James. Jim, sorry. George, how's your right arm, Andy? Well, it's if I try and straighten the elbow, it still hurts. It hurts a hell of a lot. And the pain is down the outside here. Yeah, mainly on the outside. Don't know what I've done. It does seem like it's slowly getting better, but I've been doing a lot of grinding, a lot of cutting with the grinder, and maybe those vibrations are just causing it not to heal up. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I just don't know. But maybe one day we'll find out. John Radband. Greetings from Rochdale in the UK. Man, we've got a lot of viewers from UK at the moment. That's great. Yeah, look, where is it on the shirt? England. Well, UK. How's that? Right. John Tyson. Ollie, you can get an Aussie garage to sponsor you your visa ahead of traveling. Makes it a lot easier. That's a great idea. You can do an awful lot of stuff over the internet now, obviously with Skype meetings and stuff, and basically get yourself a job lined up in advance of turning up. And that means you can hit the ground running, because living in Australia is quite expensive, your living costs. So you don't want to be hanging around for too long without earning money. Now, another one from Jim. Just bear with me. Oh my God, where's he gone? Here we go. I see that older Snap-on toolbox on the shelf. Yes, it's just behind the camera, actually. Being that they cost a fortune here in the US, how much would that cost in New Zealand? Well, it would cost a fortune here, but that's a very, very old Snap-on box, and it's one that I bought. It would have been around about 1996, 1997, and it lived in one of our workshops at the farm when I ran the off-road centre, and that workshop was quite damp. It wasn't a particularly good building, and it's not in the best condition, to be honest. A lot of the paint's come off on the bottom of the toolbox. It's a little bit rusty. I did think about painting it, doing it and painting it, but it would spoil it. It's got a lot of heritage. I mean, that's essentially my toolbox. It's the one that I've carried with me all around the world, and I'd never get rid of it. But as you well know, I'm very much a 10 tools kind of a guy now. Do I still buy Snap-on? No, I don't. I haven't bought a Snap-on tool, I don't know, since 2000, I suppose. But very expensive. I don't know what it would cost, but roll cabs and tool cabinets in New Zealand, in the main, are expensive anyway. I mean, I think the 10 tools toolbox, which is that one over there with the stickers on, that top box, is about 350, 400 New Zealand dollars, something like that. I could be wrong. You got to check the website. So a Snap-on one, I bet you're looking at $1,000 easily, if not more. I can't remember what it was in the UK. It was too long ago, unfortunately. I know it was bloody expensive, and Mrs. Mechanic was not happy when I bought it. Ollie, John Tyson, I spent Christmas in Adelaide and spoke to an immigration lawyer. Got it all lined up for when my 3 years are done. Fantastic. It's good to plan ahead when it comes to that kind of stuff. Well done. John Tyson. Cool. I'm based in Canberra. I've been to Canberra. My employer's head office is not far from there, I believe. Amco Dosley. Big clap. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And good morning to you. It's still morning here. Oh, there's loads. Jeez. Okay. Bear with me. Here we go. Daniel Black, Banbury, Oxfordshire, England, United Kingdom. So I wasn't far off. Down south somewhere. That's where it is. John Radband, since watching your videos, I've done my own maintenance and saved money. So thank you, Andy. Well, that's great. That's good to hear, John. That's what it's all about. I do try to have an educational theme to the majority of my videos, even the ones with assistants other than when I'm giving them a shirt. Yeah, we like to do stuff, even if we don't fix it, we like to pull things apart and find out why they've failed. Sometimes the repair's just not economic, but it's interesting. You can learn an awful lot from stripping down gearboxes and engines that have failed and finding out what the primary fail was. You might find a catastrophic failure, but one component usually failed first, and for a reason usually. So it's good to find out what those problems are, and I'm pleased that the videos are helpful to you. Oh, Razzing Cuts, a new one. Pretty cool, mate. Hello from Ballarat. Great to wake up to this. Good morning, Ballarat. Where the hell is Ballarat? I don't know. Sorry. Kill switch. Tendon strain on the arm. Is that what it is? Strain my tendon. What would cause that? Lifting something too heavy? Maybe? I'm always lifting stuff too heavy. Although the stuff isn't getting any heavier, I'm just getting weaker as the years go by. And that's one thing that I'm doing with the workshop, is to try and future-proof this workshop so I don't have to lug real heavy stuff around. And that's why one of the reasons why I've put the big beams up in the roof, not just to support the roof, but also I can put a gantry on there and electric winch on there and lift things up onto workbenches and stuff, because, I'm going to be doing these videos for many more years to come, and I don't want to do my back in. That's no good. Alan Cook, thank you for saying my name. That's all right, Alan. No problem at all. I like to try and read out all the comments. It's what gives us really the content for these live streams. Your questions. It's your opportunity to ask me questions. I may not always have the answer. I am a mechanic, but the area of my expertise, although I do a bit of fabrication work and stuff, my expertise is more. It's quite specific, unfortunately, but it is growing as we go. Brian Lamontang, I think, maybe. Hello from the USA. Good morning, Brian. I take it it's probably the evening or late afternoon where you are. UK Weekend Workshop. It's a good evening from Cornwall, England. Well, good evening, Cornwall. If I was in Cornwall, I'd probably be getting myself a scrumpy right now. If it was the afternoon, by the way. I wouldn't have scrumpy first thing in the morning. That would just kill productivity completely for the entire day. Make the live stream interesting, though, wouldn't it? Wayne Campbell. Good morning, Wayne. Good to see you, mate. That's a name that rings a bell. Hi, Andy. Finally made it to a live stream. Good man. Great to have you on board. Cheers. Oh, my word. I've got to scroll down again. Why is this thing not... It's because I'm too far back on the comments. That's what it is. We're there, almost there. Right, Bill Swales. Greetings, Andy, from Peterborough, Canada. Oh, I almost said the UK. Peterborough, Canada. Still a bit snowy today. Not quite enough for the snowmobile, but too cold for the TDR 250. TDR 250s are my favorite motorcycle. They are absolutely awesome. I had one when I was 18 years old, and I had quite a few police chases on that bike. I did, around Leicester and Loughborough area. Even had a police chase down the M1 motorway and got away. So to me, that is a phenomenal bike. Had a lot of fun riding that. Now, we've got a message held for review here. Okay, cheers, Alan. I'll see if I can, I'm just going to take a picture of that because I need to know. Just bear with me, people. There we go. I've got that, Alan. Cheers, mate. I'll get those two lads to flick you an email so they can give you a hand. Right, Bill Swales. Hang on, it was a doctor. Hang on. Oh, stupid scrolly thing. Bill Swales. I am a doctor, but I am not too keen to see you strip off so I can diagnose you out. You can see my arm. I don't have to strip off, mate. Oh, there you are. Look, there's a tattoo up there. Hiding away. I bet not many of you realise that. Maybe on a really hot day, I'll cut one of these old shirts into like a sleeveless shirt and you'll see it. Now then. Sarah Ryan, Halfords have upped their game with regards to tools, and you can get a no quibble guarantee. That's great. I think a lot of the tool companies now do lifetime guarantee. I know Tang Tools do, Snap-on do, a lot of the big brands do, and the Halford tools, they're not bad at all, to be honest. They're actually, you know, reasonably affordable, and they are of good quality. And they can only be good quality if they're giving them a lifetime guarantee, which is fantastic to hear. Often those kind of tools are the first tools of apprentices and so on, you know, because they've bought those as they've been fixing the cars at home before they've started their apprenticeship. Now then, Sarah Ryan, can I have your email address, please, Andy? You can. My email address, Sarah, is andymechanic, that's one word, andymechanic at live, L-I-V for Victor, E for elephant, .co.uk. It's usually in the description of the normal posted videos, not the live streams, but it's in the normal videos. And feel free to email me anytime you like. And if I don't respond, Sarah, it's maybe because your email has gone into my spam. So just flick me a message through Messenger or through Instagram. You'll find me on there as well. Or just put a comment on one of the videos, maybe on the live stream video after the live stream's processed, and I'll be able to spot that, and I'll try and dig out your email. Corvette Summer, can't wait for the Tool Girls to come back and give Andy a haircut. Yeah, I have tried to tidy things up a little bit this morning for you, because it was just getting out of hand, wasn't it? But I haven't had a haircut yet. I have trimmed the beard a little bit. I couldn't eat anything anymore because the moustache was covering my lips, and I did start to get a lot of breakfast caught up in there, so I had to do something with that. Now then, Fargo 56 Conspirator, Fargo 56 Conspirator, Fargo ND in the house. Good man, good to have you on board. And we've got 58 viewers at the moment, 59, it's just gone up, which is an absolute record for one of my live streams. So things are going well, aren't they? Fantastic. Now then, Drew Dastardly. Drew's been on a few times, regular viewer. Halford Pro tools have always been very good and have lifetime warranty. You pay for it, but nothing like Snap-on. Also, you get a trade card for discount. Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, Snap-on tools, they are very, very expensive, but so I'm told they do spend a lot of that money on developing, you know, specific specialist tools as well. So they have a much wider range of tools than many other manufacturers, but they are extremely expensive. And if all you want is a standard set of combination spanners, then I think really they're a bit overpriced for that kind of stuff. Plus, the other risk is somebody might borrow them and you won't see them again. And it's a lot to lose, isn't it? You know, you've got to have them insured if you buy Snap-on for sure. Frank Meck. Hi, everyone. In Poland, they are already grilling, and hardly anyone believes in the freak's crown. What? Hi, everyone. In Poland, they are already grilling, and hardly anyone believes in the freak's crown. Don't understand that. Sorry, Frank. Stoitzer Gerber, are you really planning to get a Project 4x4 Suzuki Samurai? Could you get a Jimny instead? I look forward to seeing if it happens. Well, the Jimny is the newer one. We did have a Suzuki Jimny in the UK. It was a black one. It was a normally aspirated, I think it was a 1.3. Good little car. Never really causes any problems. Although once we left the UK, it would have been about 10 years old, maybe nine years old when we left. It did blow a brake line somewhere. I remember the purchaser had to get it repaired. But no, great little car. Had a lot of fun driving that around. But no, it's going to be a Samurai or an SJ410 or an SJ413, a Japanese one, because that's the stuff that I like, to be honest. It's pretty retro and they're quite hard to find over here now, and they're extremely expensive. So I am considering bringing one in from Japan, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Now then, yes, it will happen. It just can't happen at the moment. I've got to get some funds together and get things organised. You know, it takes a bit of time, but it will definitely happen. It's on the cards for sure. Plus, it's small enough to get in the workshop and work around it. You know, a big four-wheel drive, no chance. I can't get the Safari in here. It's too high. Now then. Stephen Erickson, love your channel here in Louisville, Kentucky. I do like your chicken, I must admit. I like Kentucky chicken. Oh, I've lost it again. Here we go. Right. Razzing Cuts. Ha ha ha. That was great. I just assumed you would know. In Victoria, Australia. Right. Bill Zigmund. Hi, Andy from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Bill. Hope you're all good. My coffee is getting cold. In fact, my coffee is really cold. Hopefully, Mrs. Mechanic will bring me another one shortly. Now then, Brian Graham. Hi, Andy. From a very quiet York. Nothing like it used to be when you used to get drunk around York. I know, Brian, I've seen some pictures of York at the moment, and it's just dead up there, isn't it? The streets are really quiet. A lot of the shops have closed down. I miss York an awful lot, and probably still the city in England with the highest density of public houses, which has got to be the best city in the world, really, hasn't it? It's an amazing place with a lot of history and a lot of little quirky corners and little back alleys and little shops hidden away. I have a lot of friends in York, and I do miss that place very much. Nick Harra, hello from Cupertino, California. Wow, we are getting around the world today, aren't we? Good morning, Nick. Hope you're all well over there and staying safe, because, you know, we are still very much in the thick of this virus pandemic thing that's going on at the moment. Although it does, here in New Zealand, it seems to become the norm. You know, I don't check the stats every day anymore. I've just accepted that that's what's going on, and you know, we're just doing the best we can to try and stop it. And the figures here are looking fantastic. Although I think we had 2 new cases yesterday. I did check the figures yesterday. So I don't know if we're going to go into level 2 on Tuesday morning as potentially indicated by the government. They set a 2 weeks period on level 3 that expires midnight Monday, but I don't know. They might extend it. I have a sneaky suspicion they will. Now then, Todd Ector. Good morning from Elbow. Oh my! I've got to pronounce Saskatchewan. Cheers, mate. Canada, around 3:20 p.m. here. Jim Haynes. Like most mechanics, like most mechanics, I know I have all brands of tools, even Tang. Do you know many in New Zealand that really have many snap-on tools? I would think the cost is staggering there. In the US, they shock me sometimes. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of mechanics with snap-on tools. I think there's still that culture that if you're a top mechanic, you have snap-on tools. I think that culture is slowly being broken down, but there is still they're still quite popular amongst the mechanics that have been in the trade for a long time, that have got a bit more money behind them. Plus, you know, you get the odd apprentice that gets hooked on the snap-on tools van, and the guy offers them, you know, this phenomenal credit facility where they can just pay off a little bit each week. Yeah, I mean, some lads do that. It's convenience. They don't have to go out and buy the tools. They can just order what they want, and the van turns up and delivers them. It's very, very useful, and that's definitely what got me hooked originally on the snap-on tools. But when I was at college, before I bought my snap-on box, I did hunt around trying to find good quality tools, but not too expensive, because I didn't have a lot of money, and it was the Tang brand that I opted for then. Now then, Kill Switch. Sorry, got to go. Good to see you, Andy. Catch you another time. Cheers, Kill Switch. Thanks for being on board. We've got 62 viewers now, which is another record. It's fantastic. So, Kill Switch, stay safe and look after your family, and you know, work hard. Have a nice week. I will see you maybe next Sunday. Now then, just bear with me. Here we go. Right. Bob Kinney. Everyone has their favorite tools. Mine in the US are Snap-on, Mac Tools, and Craftsman. Believe it or not, my favorite tools, and they haven't even been dug out for the workshop yet, are the ones that I've had for a very long time. Basically, the older the tool, the more attached I am to it. And when I left the UK, I sent Ben off around the workshops, and he gathered pretty much all my hand tools. You pack them all up into ammo boxes, and we brought them across to New Zealand, obviously. And some of those tools I had to, like socket sets and stuff, I had to use straight away. Others, they're still in the ammo boxes, you know, like duplicates of what I've already got. Plus, for the videos, the majority of tools that I should be using are Teng, because let's face it, they've invested a lot of money in equipment for this workshop, and they've been absolutely fantastic. They even gave me the racking, that racking over there, the red racking, which is over there, look. Very expensive gear, and I was quite privileged to be given that, and it gave me a great backdrop for the workshop, I must admit, and very useful for storing stuff. But that's all going to get changed shortly. It's going the Teng racking is going to stay, but I'm going to be changing the configuration of it, and I will show you that later in this video. Do remind me, for those guys that are hanging around. Jim Haynes, give Andy a thumbs up, guys. It's free. Yes, give me a thumbs up. We've got 61 viewers and 21 thumbs up. So if you haven't clicked the thumbs up yet, please do click the thumbs up. Now then, so thanks, Jim. Thanks for reminding me, because I am terrible for pushing things on screen. Bob Kinney, yes, big thumbs up. Cheers, matey. Daniel Black, why have you still got a UK email address? Why not? I consider myself to be English, and that's my email. I don't have any New Zealand email addresses. That's my email. I give you my everyday email address. The one civil man, sorry I'm late. I was making my mum breakfast for Mother's Day. It is Mother's Day. You're right. Is it Mother's Day in the UK today? Because it's Mother's Day here in New Zealand, but I think Mother's Day in New Zealand normally falls on a different day to the one it does in the UK. So let me know if it's Mother's Day in the UK, and then I can wish my mum Happy Mother's Day, because I haven't seen her for 11.5 years. I know, it's hard. James Elliott, I was working on a A02. Oh, sorry, I was working on a 2002 CR125 Honda. Thanks for your carburetor video. I was able to diagnose and rebuild it myself. So thanks again for making it easy to understand. No worries, James. That's I was asked for a long time to do videos on carburetors. That's the only one that I've done so far. I do have some other videos planned. One of them is setting the float height on carburetors, and going into more detail on that, because there are different methods that manufacturers use to measure the level of the fuel in the float bowl. So I'm just sort of collating that information in the background. At some point, once I've got 2 or 3 carburetors that I can use as demonstrations, in the workshop, I will definitely crank out a video on that. But I'm really pleased, James, that video has helped you. You know, it's yeah, a lot of people make a mistake when they have a leaking carburetor. Usually the first thing they do is start to fiddle around with float height, and it normally isn't float height that's the problem, and then they just make things worse, and then they get stuck and you know, have to take it somewhere and pay money, which is not good. Daniel Black, it's nice having access to Japan's cars. So is it nice? It is. It's very nice. There's a lot of variations though, and it does make getting parts a bit difficult. The little Suzuki Alto that we still have, Team Henry, is back here now. It was down in Queenstown with Charlotte for quite some time. It's back. It needs a warrant. I took it for a warrant. It failed the warrant. It needs some steering rack ends, because there's a lot of play in them. There's basically been quite a lot of play in them for a long time. And I can't get aftermarket ones. I've got to buy genuine parts. So they're actually quite expensive. We don't need the car at the moment, so it's going to get fixed at some point. There will be a video on it, and I'll show you how to do the wheel alignment using a bit of string, because that's all I've got. But one day, it won't be today. Now then, John Dwyer. Hi Andy from Swindon in the UK. Wow, we've got loads of people on from the UK today. This is fantastic. I almost feel like I'm at home. Now then. Bill Zygmunt. All good, just finished working on a 2008 Saturn Astra, a P0016 code, intake cam crank correlation. So what was causing that? Was that, do they have a cam belt or a cam chain? So was the cam chain stretched and causing it to go out of sync and flag the code? Tell me more, I'm interested. Or did it jump a tooth? Who knows? Bronix, cheers from the middle of nowhere, Alaska. Holy shit, we've got somebody from Alaska on board. That is great. Good to have you. And, well, it's probably pretty cold in Alaska, so keep warm. Do you have many cases of this virus thing in Alaska? I mean, it's pretty cold up there, isn't it? Mind you, saying that, the virus doesn't like heat, not cold. It seems to survive pretty well in the cold. Was it above 27 degrees C it can't survive? I don't know, I'm only going from memory, but it doesn't like hot stuff. So if you wash your hands in hot water, it kills it pretty much straight away. Drew. Oh no, we've got another one here, look, sorry. Yes, right. Drew Dastardly, the Snap-on van is all about the credit on the Never Never. It is. It's convenience. You can have it now and pay it later. And you go in the van and it's all shiny and there's tools in the ceiling, on the roof, all down the sides, and you just want to grab and feel, and they're so smooth and well polished and well finished that you just want them, don't you? You know. Pete White. Morning, Andy from Christchurch. Good morning, Pete. Hopefully Christchurch is still good down there. Not too sure how many cases you've had. I've not looked there for a while. As soon as I can travel again with my work, I will be down in Christchurch. So I'll probably do a live stream from down there, and we can meet up for a beer if you like. Obviously, keeping the 2 meter gap, whatever it is, if it's still during this, level stuff that's going on. Todd Ector, Saskatchewan, easy to draw, but hard to print. Yeah, it's really good. I guarantee I've said it wrong. Saskatchewan. I don't know. Brookneck. That's what makes these live streams fun, because I've got to try and pronounce words like that, honestly. Brooknecks. Nobody likes them grey thumbs. Correct. Make them blue. Good man. Right, I'm going to scroll again, so bear with me. I might... here we go. Pete White gives us 4 thumbs up. Cheers, Pete. Blake Fraser, thumbs up. UK Weekend Workshop. Biggest thing to remember is the tools don't make the mechanic. They only make it easier. That's right. I mean, some tools, some jobs, you really do need the right tool to do the job. But, I've done a lot of field mechanics where you go out and fix something on site. And there's only so much stuff you can take with you. And sometimes you've got to be pretty ingenious to come up with a solution with what you've got available, especially, on like motorcycle trips and stuff. When I'm out and about. I was down in the South Island years ago with Ben. He had his Yamaha TTR 250 Raid. We were well in. We'd done a 4,500 kilometer trip. We were well in the thick of it, probably 2,500 k's in. We did a lot of gravel riding, and Ben had a couple of ammo boxes as panniers on the back of his bike, and we loaded him up with a lot of the heavy tools, just because we could. Teaching the right way, Anyway, the subframe on the back of his bike broke, from all the weight. So we had to strip the back end down and come up with a fix, and we used some old tie levers and some hose clamps and some zip ties and bits and pieces to try and reinforce that subframe. And it survived just fine until we got back to Auckland, where we stripped the bike down and I welded it all up and put an extra brace in there as well so it wouldn't happen again. And the bike, he still has the bike. That was his first on-the-road motorcycle. Todd Ector, thumbs up. Cheers, Todd. Appreciate that. Mikhail Brito. Mikhail Brito. Hi, Andy from Venezuela. Hello, Venezuela. And good morning. I'm going to drink some more of my cold coffee. Notice there are no flies anymore in the workshop. It's too frigging cold. They've all died. It's great. I think I'll be even turning off the fly zapper shortly. Rasul MA. Hi, Andy. Good morning, Rasul. Good to have you on board, matey. We're at 57 viewers at the moment and 32 thumbs up. That's great. Now then, Drew Dastardly. The best tools are the ones you make yourself, which is inevitable sometimes. It is. I mean, I've made quite a few tools, and some of them are actually used in the videos. Things like doing front fork seals. You've got to make a tool to get down inside the fork tube to hold the bolt at the bottom to undo it, to separate the stanchion from the base. I mean, you do. I mean, I made a tool not so long ago to hold a primary sheave on an ROV, much better than the original original tool that the manufacturer has. It just doesn't slip. It's great for setting the torque. You know, you just do what you do, don't you? You're a mechanic, and you need those skills, definitely. Nick Harra, it'll be Mother's Day tomorrow here in the USA. You are on the other side of the international date line from us. I am. I just need to know, is it Mother's Day this coming Sunday, which will be tomorrow in the UK? Is that Mother's Day? I need to know. Now then, I need to scroll. Bear with me. Rasul. Oh, we've got out. Hang on, Rasul. I'm in Iran. Well, stay safe, mate. I've never been to Iran. Obviously, all I ever see is what's on the news. And, you know, during my upbringing, when I was a kid, it was pretty bad over there. So I hope you're good. UK Weekend Workshop. Mother's Day in the UK was my... Oh, you're joking me. Shit. Sorry, Mum. Belated Mother's Day, if you're watching, Mum. I don't think she watches my videos, to be honest. I don't know why. She should do. Paul Preston. Hi, Andy from Kentucky. Chicken. I like chicken. That's 2 from Kentucky we've got now. The One Civil Man. Thank you for the advice last week. I repacked my muffler, but not with muffler packing, just fiberglass you use for edges. Cool. Yeah, I mean, when we used to run 2-strokes in the UK, it was just the fiberglass wadding, you know, the insulation stuff we used to use. It was cheap, plentiful. Didn't usually last quite as long, but it did the job. So I'm pleased you've solved that problem. Well done. The One Civil Man. Do you have a use for a 30mm Tang Tools socket? Always. Let's see if I've got a 30mm. I don't know. It might even be a snap-on one. I don't know. Bear with me. Have I got a 30mm? I've got a 32. What brand is that? Nope, that's unbranded. Bear with me. Ah, I have a 30. But again, it's an unbranded one. It probably came as a set with a rattle gun, with an impact wrench. So, yep, I could always do with more tools. Now, oh, what's that one there? What's this? That's a 32, and that's a Kennedy socket. That one we used for some torque testing, didn't we? Because it's got the little lines on it. That was on the big Makita impact wrench. Now then, I'm going to keep scrolling down. So yes, the One Civil Man. Yes, you're welcome to send it down if you like. It will get pride of place in the workshop, I can guarantee it. Now then, Alan Cook, can I have one of your stickers? Alan, you can, but I don't have any at the moment. I'm going to be redesigning the sticker to suit the new branding, which is a bit like what's on the mug. So I'll come up with some kind of a plan for that in the near future, and that will be available, I imagine, on the Zazzle store if they do stickers. I'm pretty sure they do. So you'll hear it on some of the videos, or if you click on that little link thing up in there, the tab, and go through to that little Zazzle store that I built. When they're available, they'll be on there. But by all means, you can have one. And I will be sending some out as well, you know, for free for regular viewers. But, you know, watch this space. Now then, Pete White. Pete Anthony on Facebook, mate. Ah, Pete Anthony on Facebook. Yes, I've seen you, Pete. I have. I've seen your posts. Oh, here we go. Look, Nick. Sash Catch Iwan. Okay, Sash Catch Iwan. Thank you. Simon Rawl. Good morning, Simon. What's going on over there? He's disappeared again. Hang on, bear with me. Sorry, Simon. I'm really bad at this scroll thing. Here we go. Right. Good evening, Andy and crew. Good evening, Simon. I hope you're well. Good to hear from you again. Nice to have you on board. We are currently at 60 viewers, which is great. My live streams are nowhere near as popular as something like Eric L or whatever, or even Ivan. But during this lockdown period, I'm getting to the swing of doing these live streams every Sunday morning. It actually gives me a break from being on the tools. It's quite nice because every single day I'm in the workshop doing stuff. And it's nice just to sit here and spend a couple of hours talking to you guys. In fact, what are we up to now? I have no idea. Where are we? Oh, this phone hasn't got a timer on it. Oh, yes, it has. There we are. Look, 55 minutes are up to. So we're not even halfway yet, which is great. We did start a little bit early this morning. Bob Kinney, I'll quote Scotty. And my father always used the right tool for the right job. I take it that's Scotty Kilmer, yeah? Moto Dans. Hey, Andy from Ashburton. Good morning, Ashburton. I've been to Ashburton plenty of times. Take it that's the Ashburton that's not too far away from Christchurch, if that's the one you're on about. Charlie Rigney. Greetings from Tucson, Arizona, USA. Arizona, man. Good morning, Charlie. Good to have you on board. I take it it's sort of late afternoon, evening there. So good evening. Grab a beer. Now then, Bill Zygmunt, cam belt checked mechanically with the KM6628 tool, and cam gears are all in time. Haven't scoped it yet, but appears to be a problem. Electronic data issue. Oh dear. So it could just be the sensor itself then, by the sounds of it, potentially, or the crank sensor, one of them, because they've gone out of sync. Simon, yep, it's not the tools. I drive 500 miles with a key ring in place as a clutch pivot bolt. As a bit harsh with the gear change, but got me home. Simon, I have a story for you. When I was in the UK, before I had my own, well, in fact, no, I had my own business, but I was only running it weekends, the off-road centre. I was a rep for Partco in the UK. I don't know if Partco's still going or not, but I worked for the York branch and for the Selby branch. And I did 1 week in York, 1 week in Selby. And I much prefer the Selby one, to be honest. It was much more fun. And it was the thick of winter, and I had to drive. I took my little Suzuki SJ410 van to Selby because it was deep snow. And on the way home, the throttle cable snapped. So I had no throttle. And I needed power to get through the snowdrifts. And it was 2 or 3 feet deep in places. It was that powder snow, fortunately. So I stopped and I was rummaging around the truck, and I had bugger all tools with me, unfortunately. But I did spot an empty Coke can in the back. So I squashed the Coke can down just to the right size and wedged it against the carburetor and the throttle quadrant to give the engine about 3/4 RPM. And I just drove home at 3/4 RPM. It made it very interesting on the corners, lots of clutch control, but I made it home. So you don't even need tools sometimes, just something in the car can do the job. And in this case, a keyring. Fantastic. Now then, Charlie Rigney. Oh, here we go. Do you see any Triumph motorcycles in New Zealand? Yeah, there's lots of Triumphs here. There is. In fact, on this arm at the top, I have a tattoo of the Triumph logo. That's the checkered flag and the United Kingdom flag. I do. One day you might see it. Now then, Robert Hickney, more wisdom from the future. Yes, welcome to the future, people. This is New Zealand. We're way ahead of most people in time. Right, I'm going for a scroll. Bear with me. Walt Packhurst. Greetings from Troy, Pennsylvania. That's a good movie. I do like Troy. Very cool movie. Pennsylvania. Wow. Isn't that the place where you have all the Count Dracula lives? Pennsylvania? Or is that the other Pennsylvania? That's in Europe, I think, isn't it? Anyway, the one civil man. Sorry I was late again. No, you weren't. We started early. It's all good. I started about 10 minutes early today for some bizarre reason. I allowed more time to get the new phone set up. And honestly, it was a breeze. It was so quick to do. It was really good. But this time I have a reason. It was Mother's Day and I was making Mum breakfast. Do you think that on Tuesday it will be level 2? I don't know. It's a bit of an issue, isn't it? We are still getting some small number of cases some days here in New Zealand. They do seem to very much have it under control, which is great. My biggest concern is that if we go to level 2, people will pretty much just start moving around as normal. There's already been quite a few cases of breaches, of people having close contact that are outside your New Zealand bubble, so to speak. And in many other countries, when they've dropped down a level, there's been a flare up of the of the number of cases, and that's a huge concern here for New Zealand. We've done ever so well to get this far. I have a sneaky suspicion. I'd put my money on the fact Jacinda's probably going to extend it maybe another few days, maybe to the end of that week, and then we go to level 2 the following Monday. That's where I'm going to put my money. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Now then, Machine NZ. Hi, Andy from New Plymouth. The workshop's looking nice and bright. It is. We're getting there. It really is. I'll do you a little tour of the workshop again in a minute. Simon. Very well, Andy. Hope you and your Mrs. Mechanic are well. We're coping really well, actually. This is probably the longest stint I have ever had on a daily basis with Mrs. Mechanic here in New Zealand. In the UK, it was different because we worked together at the off-road centre. So we pretty much were together, morning, noon and night, so to speak. Although I was often in a different part of the forest and she would be down at the site or down in Pickering. So yeah, it has been tough on some days, but we're in a routine. She lets me get on with my stuff in the workshop. She goes and does some craft work in the house. She likes her crafting. She might even start a YouTube channel doing that. We've been talking about that to keep her occupied. But she's also just got a job. She has. She's working part-time for a local motorcycle shop. They rang her up and said, we need you here. So she's doing admin work, ordering parts, that kind of stuff, which is a great help because the chap is really struggling to get good mechanics at the moment. And one of his lead mechanics has left, which has meant he's got to get back on the tools. He's an excellent mechanic himself, and he can work very quickly and very productively. So he's a lot better off in the workshop on the tools if he can find someone to do some of the admin work. So it's a win-win, and he's not too far away from here. Now then, Simon. Yes, thank you. Carolk880. I regret I didn't find your channel earlier. Really good content, especially for weekend mechanics. Cheers, mate. Greetings from Poland. Another gentleman from Poland. Hello, Poland. Great to have you on board. I believe the state meal in Poland is potatoes. Is that right? You guys eat a lot of potatoes over there. We eat a lot of potatoes here, actually, in many different forms. Alan Cook, can you make it small to fit on my RC car? Or the sticker? I'm sure we can make some little tiny stickers as well. That'd be a good idea. Yes, we can do that. I'll try and remember when I'm designing them. I'll do one of a smaller version for you. If you email me some dimensions, then I'll be able to make it exactly the size you want. How's that? Now then, just bear with me, I'm scrolling again. Oh, I think we're at the bottom. That's cool. Jim, the other day, it was 107 degrees Fahrenheit. That's probably really hot. In Phoenix, Arizona, and last night here in Virginia, it was 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and it snowed 50 miles from here last night. Wow. So quite a drop in temperature on nighttime. That's amazing. Blot on New Zealand. Blot on NZ. My mother has a Thruxton 1200R here in New Zealand. She bought as soon as they came out, upgrade from her old Thruxton. That's cool. It's really cool that your mum rides one of those around. That's brilliant. Jim Haynes, Transylvania in Europe is Dracula. There you go. Honestly, thanks for putting me right. I always get it wrong. Pennsylvania in the US. Haha, good man. Bob Kinney, I knew you were going to like the Samsung S20, planning to upgrading myself. I think it's a fantastic phone. It's a bit bigger than my S6 Edge. But I am getting to like it more and more, and the fact that the picture quality is significantly better should mean that the videos, because I'll be using it to film my regular videos as well. And one thing that I have noticed already on this live stream is that it doesn't have that focus pulse problem that the old S9 that I bought to replace the X6 with, which was brand new at the time, has. So they've obviously eliminated that issue. So it's definitely, by the looks of it, from what I can see, it's staying in focus on me all the time, which is good. That was the whole idea. If it didn't, and I couldn't adjust it, then I wouldn't be able to use it. Richie M8, good morning from Adelaide, Andy. Good morning, Richie. Good job. Good to have you on board, matey. Simon, funny, my wife likes crafting too. You joking? Oh no, don't let the two of them get together. Honestly, they'll never shut up. The one civil man, how's your shoulder from all the grinding? Well, I was saying a bit earlier on, my elbow is the main problem. The shoulder's still a bit stiff. It used to be my left shoulder that caused me a problem because I fell off my WR450F on a gravel road a few years ago and tore some bits and pieces up there, and it never really recovered. But out of the two, oh, they're both about the same this morning. They are. But the elbow, that's where the problem is. There's something going on around this area here, I think. I should get the Leatherman out and take a look, shouldn't I? No, well, don't ask me to. The one civil one, how much do the stickers cost? I don't know. I'm going to design some new ones. I remember when I had the old stickers made up in New Zealand, I had 100 made, and they cost me about 100 New Zealand dollars. So they cost me about $1 a piece, which I thought was pretty reasonable, to be honest. But you know, when you get them online, they're usually a bit cheaper. So I'll see what I can organise. I'll try and do something next week for you. Bill Zigmund, long story, Andy. Original complaint: exhaust cam crank correlation. Found exhaust cam timing wheel spun. Oh my word! Had to replace the exhaust cam. All new OEM parts. Will double check the sensor on intake. Yeah, something's going on there, isn't it? If you've already replaced those bits. Huh. The one civil man. Sorry, is it cam chain or is it cam belt? Sorry, I couldn't. I think you mentioned it in the previous comment. Just let me know again. The one civil man. So far, the internet has been really good. It has. We had some terrible problems last week with it dropping out on a regular basis. So fingers crossed we're going to be okay. The phone is connected via its data, so the live stream is going out on data from the phone, and I've got the laptop Wi-Fi to you know, the rural broadband that I've got for the workshop, which incidentally I went for a new plan. The original plan, the maximum you can get on rural broadband here in New Zealand was 200 gigabytes a month. It works basically on a SIM card. It's just the same really as phone connection. 4G is the idea. But they brought out a new one, which was 600 gigabytes a month, which I'll never use all of that. But it was cheaper. It was like $80 a month instead of the 200 gigs a month, which was, from memory, about 130. It was crazy expensive for what it was, and I didn't really use much of it because, you know, when I'm actually at work, I'm away during the week. So it was only on a weekend I was able to make use of that. And uploading videos, I tend to do in the house and use the Wi-Fi in the house. We have a separate internet connection for the house, which is, believe it or not, VDSL. It's on the old phone line, but it's pretty stable. That's the good thing about that. The weather doesn't really affect it. George, are you currently running the 5G Vodafone modem? I am running a modem, which is, in fact, let me get the box. Hang on. It's been very dusty in this workshop. This is the modem that Vodafone gave me to replace the modem that I already had here. It's exactly the same. They just sent me another one. It is 5G compatible, but I did check with Vodafone to see if we had 5G here on the mast, and the mast is only a couple of k's away, and you can see it from the workshop. And they said, no, you haven't got 5G in that area, so we're definitely still on 3 or 4G at the moment. So when we get to 5G, they couldn't give me a date. The rollout's in process is all I would say. When we do get to 5G, then things will get a lot better again, and I'll be way more inclined to do more live streams. But seeing the picture quality this morning on the new phone and the fact we're not having so many glitches, it's pretty cool. I do like the way things are. Now then, Moto Dan's, get some W40 on the elbow. I will. I've got some WD-40. I'll spray it on later on. Robert Hickey, Andy, it's just called getting old. Sorry, mate. I do feel old. I do. I'm 48 years old now, and some mornings I get up and I feel 78, honestly. I've had a hard life. I don't look after my body very well. The last couple of years working as a rep for a major motorcycle manufacturer, I do a lot of driving, a lot of flying, a lot of sitting, and not a lot of exercise. And the free time that I do get, I tend to spend in the workshop making videos or fixing stuff or making things. At the moment seems to be my forte of fabrication. I'm on a bit of a mission at the moment to get the workshop finished before I have to return to normal duties at work. So not really picking up the spanners other than to do up nuts and bolts on things that I've made. Simon, Bill Zygmunt, if it's spun the cam wheel, it may have bent the cam shaft. Worth a look with a DTI. Good call. Thanks, Simon. Machine NZ, how's Tool Girl Lilli going with her bike? Well, I spoke to Tool Girl Lilli the other day, and Tool Girl Lilli's bike is still here. I can't get it back to Auckland until I'm allowed to travel. When I can travel, it'll be going back up. I just need to source a couple of mirrors for the handlebars, and then I can put it through its warranty fitness, and she can have it back, and she can hopefully get out on the road on it. It might entice her to get a license. It might. She's terrible. You should message Tool Girl Lilli and tell her to get her act together, honestly. Now the machine ends. Oh, here we go. Look, Bill Zygmunt, timing belt, variable valve timing, same engine, 1.8, and a in a Vauxhall Astra. I find your email on one of your videos. I'll send you the details. Yeah, good man. Cheers, Bill. I'll look into that for you. Clyde, hello from Iowa, USA. Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, Clyde. Good to have you on board. Bill, thanks, Simon. Is that the end of the questions? It is. It's time for a bit more cold coffee. Okay, a perfect opportunity to show you what I've been up to. Yesterday, actually. Right. Look at that. There you are. Look, there is the old Snap-on toolbox. And that is an old metal detector that my dad used to have, which is going to go up somewhere in the workshop. Right. Let's have a wander. And now I've been told not to walk around the workshop too quickly because it makes people feel sick. So I'm going nice and steady. Now over here, this is the wall where I have all the Teng's tools racking. And the plan is to cut all this racking in half horizontally and then mount it as shelving up on the wall. The same as I've done. Oh, just panning slowly. A similar sort of idea to what I've done there, but they go much further down. If I just come back a little bit, you'll see we've got a number of roll cabs here in the workshop. And the plan is for those roll cabs to fit underneath the shelving and essentially look like they're all one piece. But I can pull the roll cabs out when I want, increase the floor space. And this is a bracket that I made up yesterday, a prototype, which will basically provide partly the strength. I mean, these shelves carry a lot of weight. There'll be some more stuff going up there because these timbers are not the world's strongest, to be honest. I'm a bit concerned. I've got to over-engineer it because I know that I tend to stack things up real high. And you can see that the roll cab just fits underneath. So it's maximizing the space. And it's got the bolt through the top. But I think I'm going to... Oh, where's my finger? I'm going to weld a tab on a bit further down, have another bolt a bit further back, because there's not that much wood here in this area here. So it is work in progress. And if it all pans out, then I've got, I think, 11 of those brackets to make. But just, if you see behind there, look, there's one of the steel beams that holds the roof up. That's one of the pillars that I made. I'll be mounting some of those brackets off those as well. So there's one there. And of course, there's one a bit further down, which is hidden behind all those boxes. You can just see it there, look, through that gap. There you are. So essentially the vast majority of the strength will be coming off those two steel vertical pillars. You can just see that one there through there, look. It's all a bit of a mess at the moment, sorry. But I don't know whether I'm going to get all that done before I go back to work or not. We'll have to wait and see. But it's going to greatly increase storage and floor space and make the floor more versatile. And the plan is that I came up with yesterday, this corner piece of racking again is going to get cut in half, and the second air compressor is going to come out, and it's going to sit. Oh, look at that focus. Okay, it's going to sit against that firewall at the back of the bench, not sat on the bench, but suspended again from. You can see there. Look, there's another steel pillar at the back, so that will provide the majority of the strength to hang that racking off. That's the plan, anyway. Right. I'll give you another little look at the the finished product on this one. Looks pretty cool. I do like, I'm very, not that, well, I do like that obviously, but the little wooden shroud for the light. Mainly for the filming side of it, so we don't get glare off that particular LED tube. And just while we're on, you probably haven't seen much inside the Tool Girl cabinet, so we'll have a little look. Morning, Lily. Right. This is the Tool Girl cabinet. Hasn't got a lot of stuff on them in the moment because the Tool Girl actually have quite a lot of the gear with them at home. But I use it for all sorts of stuff. There you go, look. Paint and gas down there. Rose's boots. Fantastic stuff. Right. Okay. Back to the bench. There we go. I'm back. Don't panic. I'm back. Did you enjoy the little tour? I'm always worried about changing the camera around in case I lose the live stream. Now then, what else have we got? Okay. Oh my word. Right. Bill's thanks, Andy. No problem at all, Bill. That's what we're all here for. George, is there a ventilation in the workshop? Well, there's lots of gaps. There will be some ventilation eventually. You know, I'll put a fan up on the wall. I'll put two actually. One will be to blow fresh air in, and one will be an extractor fan on the other side of the workshop. But I can't put anything that side because there's neighbours, so there'll need to be probably one on this side, and then the extractor fan will be as high up as I can get it on this far wall. But that's for way down the line. I just open the doors when I need to at the moment. Bill, Simon Roll replaced the complete exhaust cam. Gee, okay. Engineer, it looks like a Honda lol. The one civil man, I know this is not your expertise, but do you know how to hang a shelf with no jib inserts? Well, you've got to find the studs. You've got to find the vertical timbers so you can screw into those. So a stud finder is a useful thing for that. I don't like to have a shelf relying on the integrity of jib anyway. Jib's not particularly strong. I like to always find the wooden timbers behind the jib and screw into those with any kind of shelving units if I'm doing stuff in the house. I did about 18 months, a few years ago, completely stripping out the cottage, replastering it all, doing it up basically. So I've done a bit of stuff on home maintenance and what do you call it, doing the place up, but I'm by no means an expert. I'm not. I sort of bumble my way through. So no, find the timbers and then you're good to go. Just don't screw through or drill through any wires. So if you buy one of those little wire and jib finder things, I bought a Bosch one not so long ago. I think it's on one of the videos. I've used it a couple of times. It's pretty good, but when it comes to wires, it gives you even though there's one wire, it'll give you about 12 inches of area of wall to say don't go anywhere near it, even though you know the wire runs vertically. It's very conservative when it comes to safety. Now then, Stotzgeber, the rear differential of my 15-year-old Suzuki Jimny, usually quiet, but under heavy load it produces some noise like an old bus. Do I need to adjust some parts internally or just standard change oil? No, if it's making a noise, usually that noise, well, it can be coming from two things. One, it could be a bearing that's getting a bit tired, because when you're under heavy load, there's more loading, especially on the pinion bearings. So if there's any kind of play on that pinion bearing, it's going to cause misalignment of the pinion teeth to the crown wheel teeth, and that's where your noise is most likely coming from. Now those differentials in the Suzuki Jimny are pretty much identical to the ones in the older Samurai and SJ410s. So when I come to do a video on the SJ diff, then you'll be able to rebuild your own. What I would suggest you do in the meantime is get hold of a proper manufacturer's service manual and have a little read of that, because you'll need the specs when you come to set that diff back up again. The only problem is, if it's been doing it for a while and it's caused wear on those teeth, even when you get the alignment right again, and maybe some new bearings while you're in there, it may still whine. because the teeth now have been modified by the wear. Quietening a differential down is usually very difficult once it starts to make a noise, but mechanically it's still sound, it just makes a noise. Simon, it's variable valve timing. Is the oil quality good? Bill, yes, OEM recommended oil. Okay. Simon, engineer it like a Honda law. Bill, Simon Roll, the whole timing system replaced OEM parts. Okay. The plot thickens. So, yeah. Keep looking. Get the scope on it. Find out what's going on. Bill, yes, love the tour. Good man. I appreciate that because I'm never too sure. Hopefully the camera wasn't flickering around too quick. The problem with the live streams is the frame rate seems to be a bit lower than a normal video. So when you're moving the camera about, it does look quite jumpy. So I have to do things quite slowly to get that. Rhino, greetings from Lost City, Oklahoma. Fixing to fire up the grill. Andy, how you like your steak? Medium. I like my steak medium to rare. Enjoy the live stream as usual. Good man. Appreciate that. We've got 49 viewers and 42 likes. That's fantastic. And we're an hour and 21 minutes in. So, I promised you a little diagram. You've already seen the bracket on the wall. Maybe I should have shown you the diagram first. I don't know. Okay, don't know how well this is going to come out on camera, but this was sort of our workings out yesterday. This was the first drawing that I did. So we've got the two steel pillars here, and the racking will be either side. There'll be little gaps between the racking where the pillars are because I want the racking to be as far back as possible. That's the plan at the moment. Anyway, it also gives me opportunity to hang things in these gaps as well, which is pretty useful when looking for places to put things in the workshop. And then you've got the roll cabs that will fit directly underneath, and I can get probably, I should be able to get all my roll cabs along that wall with some additional space to spare. And in that additional space, I'm going to be making up another workbench on wheels, because these three workbenches here, they are actually on wheels, but they're sort of permanent fixtures now, to be honest. Well, in fact, the middle bench isn't on wheels anymore because it's too heavy to be on the casters that I had. It kept breaking them. And in actual fact, this bench here is almost as heavy, even though it's half the size. And it destroys casters. I should buy, stronger ones. But now that the workshop's sort of settled down a bit, these big three benches don't need to move anywhere. I'm very happy as they are. And I can't think of any reason why I'd need to move them other than maybe cleaning the floor, but that doesn't happen very often. So I want to make another workbench, because I didn't make these ones, I bought these from an old boatyard. Another workbench which will fit underneath that shelving, the last of the 10 shelving, and I can pull it out and use it for mounting cut-off saws and whatever I want, any particular task. It's always useful to have another bench in the workshop. Have I got some breakfast? I don't know. Maybe. So yeah, that should give me that versatility to be able to tuck things away. Possibly even the motorcycle hoist will fit under there. I think it. Yes, it will do. It will do. Yeah. So until I make the bench, the motorcycle hoist can pop under there, out of the way. It's great, isn't it? Any more on that drawing? Yes. A bit more down the bottom, look, just to give you some more clues. I've sort of based the rough design on the brackets for the other side, trying to make it all sort of match. But the design has changed a little bit from when I did this drawing. It is still work in progress. And my main concern with that wall and that racking, because it's much bigger racking, is the strength of the garage wall. Now there's quite a few vertical wooden posts. There's a total of 9 wooden posts and 2 steel pillars, which is part of the beams for the roof. But the wood is very old and it's not particularly strong. I noticed when I was cutting a lot of the old wood out of the workshop that there was a bit of bore in there, which was good to get it out, to be honest. But it's nowhere near as strong as new timber, and I'm not looking to replace those timbers. We'll have to just wait and see what my plan's going to be, to be honest. I don't want any kind of a pillar down onto the concrete floor to give it support, because then it makes it harder to get the trolleys in and out and stuff, the roll cabs. So I want the whole thing to be mounted up away from the floor, and that aids cleaning and that kind of thing. You know, because I do a lot of welding, and if there's a buildup of sawdust hiding away underneath some racking somewhere, the sparks from the MIG could potentially set fire to that. I pack up for the night and it smoulders away, and then we have a fire and there's no more workshop. So that's one of the reasons why I'm being, you know, ultra cautious. Now then, oh my word. Right. Bill, I will scope tomorrow. We'll email you tonight, Andy. 6 p.m. here. Time for a shower, some dinner, then a good bourbon and a cigar. God, I like cigars. I haven't had a cigar for ages. Thanks to all. Stay safe and stay well. Cheers, Bill. Yes, keep in touch, and I'll have a little think about that one. Yeah, be good to see. Stoic Skibber, I like your plan of attack. Thank you, matey. Appreciate that. There's a lot of thought goes into this little workshop. Bob, stay safe, Bill. Moto Dan's workshop looking good, Andy. I'm popping off. Stay safe and may tune in next week. Cheers, Moto Dan's. Great to have you on board, and I'm pleased that you found the live stream, you know, interesting, because it's very difficult sometimes to plan ahead. And these live streams are based almost entirely on your questions, to be honest. I don't really do a lot of planning on these. Duke of the Dales, good man. Hi Andy, really love your videos. I found you when I wanted to change the oil on my KTM 640 Duke 2, but didn't learn anything as you had a bikini-clad girl causing a distraction. I know, that was one of the hardest videos I've ever had to film. Tool Girl Harley was a tremendous distraction when I was trying to film. She was so much fun to work with. I'm not going to say any more. Right. Bill, you too, Bob Kinney. George, I'm sure you're aware, Andy. Just putting up for all about the ventilation. If there is combustion long enough with all the doors closed, CO can build up and get dangerous. You're quite right. I don't have... Oh, hang on. We've got another delivery. Bear with me. What have we got now? Lovely. Thank you very much. Oh, look at that. We've got some more stuff. This is great. What a morning. Who knows, I might even get a bacon butty later on. Bacon and egg butties are great on a Sunday. So what have we got? Apart from something in my coffee. Yeah, don't want that. Right. Hang on then. Oh, that was really cold. This one's nice and hot. Okay, I'm back. Nizar Al Ahmad. Nizar Ahmad. Good morning. Good Sunday morning to you, sir, from Malaysia. Or Malaysia. Good morning. Good to have you on board. Wow, really close to the camera there. One thing I've noticed with this new phone is when you're on selfie mode, it's more zoomed in. Weird. Yeah, that should be better. Bill, cheers night. Cheers, Bill. See you next time. I'll be here next Sunday for you. Robert Hickey. I'm in northern New Jersey, US. It's snowing right now. What's going on? I had to, you know, modify that a little bit for you. What's going on? I don't know. Does it not normally snow in New Jersey, US at this time of year? I've never been. I don't know. What I would say though is the fact that there's hardly any cars being used around the world. There's a massive reduction in transportation, be it planes, cars. I think ships are still pretty busy. Then it's going to have to be having a pretty significant effect on the environment. I've noticed it actually seems to be a bit colder here than it would normally be this time of year. So maybe we're going to enter an ice age. Geez, just another natural catastrophe for us to deal with. But it does seem bloody cold, that's for sure. So I've got my t-shirt on underneath my shirt now as well. It's that time of year. Simon, I'd have a little project for next week being off work. Getting a points ignition to work on a Chinese generic CDI. Ooh, good luck with that. Yeah, should be fun though. Points ignition to work. Hang on a minute. You've got points ignition with a CDI unit? No, really? I've never come across that before. That doesn't make any sense to me. Usually with a CDI, you just have a pickup coil. Anyway, let me know, Simon. Be good to hear about that one. Almost crumpets. These are sort of we call them raspberry buns. Yeah, look, they're pretty cool. Still straight out of the oven. Mmm. Nom nom nom. Nice. Bob Kinney, post on Sunday. Mrs. Mechanic. It's great. Oh, okay. Using a NOT gate to trigger the CDI. It sounds like something I haven't worked on before. All the stuff with points that I've worked on is just the old school points and ignition coil system where the points are, you know, just releasing the ground when they open. Interesting stuff. Nick Ortiz. Hey Andy, I'm a new fan of yours. 1995 Ford Bronco starts every time. Well, that's good to know. And has a perfect idle. Then put into gear and it stalls out. Engine only runs in park and neutral, no codes. Well, first of all, I've never worked on a Ford Bronco, so I don't know the system on there. So if somebody else out there has got a bit of knowledge on those. So is it a manual or is it an auto? If it's an auto, I'll be going after the gear selector switch on it. Inhibitor switch they call it, don't they? Now then, so sorry I can't really help you with that one. Stotzgerber, would you show around the garage outside? No, it's terrible. It's like all the paint's flaking off. It looks nasty at the moment. When I come to do the re-roofing of the workshop, because that's one of the reasons why I've been doing the beams and all that kind of thing, is in preparation to do that next spring or next summertime. It's a bit too late in the year to do it now, and I can't buy the materials anyway. Then no doubt you'll see me clambering around ladders and putting up sheets of roofing with Ben and bits and pieces. So you'll get a good idea of the surroundings. But to be fair, I have to be very discreet on the exact location of the workshop. And the reason for that is security, to be honest. There's a lot of stuff in here which is very expensive and I couldn't really afford to replace. So filming outside the workshop is a bit difficult. It tends to give the game away a little bit as to exactly where I am. Right. Simon, as the point opens, the NOT gate will trigger the CDI. Just need to make it work. Okay, that sounds like a switch on a switch to me. Okay, Bob Kinney, I remember setting points with a matchbook's cover. Yeah, I used to use my thumbnail. When I was out in the forest, I used to put my thumbnail, not today because I've cut my thumbnails, put my thumbnail on the points, tweak them up, and then just check they were good. And that was good enough for the little Suzuki SJ410s just to rumble around the forest. Because I used to burn the points out quite a bit. We used to, what did we do? That's right. During cranking, you get it bypasses the ballast resistor for the ignition feed to the coil, so you get battery voltage. Sure, while you're cranking it, there's a reasonable volt drop because of the starter motor. So what I did is we had a problem with the vehicles when they used to go through deep water, or sometimes they would struggle and cough and fart and stall out, and that was a bad thing because then the water, which was maybe 2 or 3 foot deep, would get sucked into the differentials, and you know, it used to just wasn't good. And we had the bungs out the floor of the vehicle, so all the water used to come in. So I fitted a little switch on the dashboard of many of the vehicles next to the isolation switch, where before any water pulls, we'd get the customer to, or the co-pilot, to push the switch down, give the ignition full 12 volts, and we found we got very, very few stall outs in the water because of that. But obviously the adverse effect was that because they had the higher voltage going through the ignition points more regularly, it would burn the points out quicker. But it did cut down enormously on the breakdowns. A nice sort of quick little fix. Later on, I converted them all to electronic ignition off the 1300s. And I actually did an article. We had a journalist come down and he actually took photos and wrote an article on me doing that conversion, fitting the SJ413 distributor and ignition systems, the ignition coil and distributor, on the SJ410 engine, because it did fit and it was a fantastic fix. And we did that to all our fleet. Now then, and that solved the problem. We had no issues after that. No. Nick, oh, it's an automatic. Yeah, I mean, by the sounds of it, you want to be investigating to see what part of the circuitry, from that switch affects ignition. Because that switch is telling the ECU what gear the vehicle's in, be it park, neutral, first, reverse, whatever. And it may well be there's a problem with the switch. I don't know, but that to me is where I would start looking at least. So you could test the switch. That'd be quite a simple thing to do. Now then, Frank, dump it for a Dodge. Oh, come on, Frank. Todd, sounds like you might have an issue with your idle speed control solenoid on that Bronco. Yeah, good to know. Robert Hickey, for the safety of the tool girls as well. Yes, absolutely. Yep. George, I started following this channel from 2018 from a YouTube search. Subscribed instantly. Lockdown really helped to follow your great work on YouTube. There's been many advantages of lockdown, hasn't there, to be honest? Or side advantages. I mean, for me, it's given me a lot more time and a lot of time in over a short period of time to get the workshop really, I wouldn't say finished off. I don't think I'll get it all finished completely, but it's a massive change around the workshop. It was 6 weeks ago, and these changes would have taken me another year to get to where I am now. So, yeah, it's a very strange time we live in. It really is. I'm just trying to keep busy. I'm not the kind of person that likes to be sat around doing nothing. I have to do stuff and be productive, otherwise I get grumpy. So thanks, George. Appreciate that. Stoic Skerber, fair enough. I did not think about security. Stay hidden. Well, yeah, I've just got to be a little bit careful, to be honest. Jim K, can't wait for all this to be over. Yeah, I must admit, coming into the workshop every single day, well, bar maybe 3 or 4 days. I mean, some days I just do a few hours, other days I do a long day. I do 12, maybe 14 hours in the workshop. It does get a bit monotonous, to be perfectly honest. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't film every day. I've got jobs to do. I want to get on with them. And most of the work I'm doing at the moment is fabrication work. So there's a limit to how many videos of doing that kind of stuff I can do. At least with the live streams, I get to show you what I've been up to and what improvements I've done in the workshop within the last week. Mark Lindsay, hey Andy, has your lad still got his TDR 250? He's got 2 of them. One is in the shed over there, which is sort of his parts bike at the moment, and he's got another one up in Auckland that he rides not every day because he's got his WR450F as well in super motard spec. But he did take his TDR 250 out last weekend. I think I saw some pictures on Facebook. Restoring a 1991 model. That must be one of the last models. All complete apart from the engine. Now, they're the hard bits to get hold of. Have watched your top end rebuilds, etc. Any chance if he still has it? Doing a few more shows. Well, yes, of course. Ben still has one, which is complete and running. We've managed to, over the last few years, since putting those videos out, he's managed to source more spare engines, barrels, casings, cranks, you name it. He's sort of building up a stockpile of parts, whatever he can get hold of, really, to make sure that he can keep running that bike for many years to come. It really is a classic, and he put a lot of Ks on it over a couple of year period, which maybe he shouldn't have done. I mean, he just loved riding it. But it did wear the engine out, so to speak, and he had a few problems, and then we did the fix. And he's had no more problems since then. But I've used 2 gigabytes of my data this morning. That's okay because it's got 40 gigs on this phone, so it shouldn't be a problem. So yes, I will definitely be doing more videos working on Ben's TDR 250 and probably with Ben in the workshop as well, because I'm trying to involve him more on those repairs. He's got a couple of engines to rebuild that are outside the bike just for future, and he's also looking at putting a Banshee 350 engine into his TDR, but with 421cc barrels, aftermarket barrels, no YPVS, all that will be gone. And but it will have electronic fuel injection on a two-stroke. He's going to be getting a kit out of the US that you can buy. Now that will be a real animal. It'll be a very different machine to ride, and my main concern is the frame won't be able to cope with the power. But he says, bah, all good, don't worry about it. So we'll find out. But that's a project for much further in the future. At the moment, I do keep saying this, my day job is working for a main motorcycle manufacturer. Happens to be the same manufacturer that makes the TDR 250. And whilst I'm employed by them, and I hope that that's going to continue for many, many more years, because I do love my job with them, I am not allowed to make public any videos on that brand of vehicle. That's just in my contract. I can't do it. The ones that are already on the channel, there's quite a few on ATV and ROV and some motorcycle as well, they agreed that they could stay. But until such time that I'm no longer employed by my current employer, any videos that I do film, any diagnostic videos, any repair videos on that brand of bike, and I do film them because, you know, those issues only come along when they come along, and it's good to make a video on that problem and work my way through it to help other people. Those videos are not permitted to be made public on the channel until some point in the future. So I'm sorry, but I can't put anything out on that brand until whenever, I don't know. Serious shit. How come my comments aren't posting? Well, I don't know. That one is. Sorry, serious shit. I don't know what's going on. Sam Raw, Banshee quad engine bring bad memories of a they are phenomenal quad bikes, they really are, and you can't get them anymore, not over here. In fact, the last one that they had in stock in Australia was auctioned off, and it fetched a fair price. You can still buy them second hand, and I have got my eye on one, and so's Ben at the moment, but they're pretty expensive for what they are, because they are just awesome, way ahead of their time when they came out. Serious shit, you just did. Yes, okay, ask me a question, serious shit. What's going on? Donnie, hello sir, watching you here in Florida. Thank you. Well, good morning, evening or afternoon, Donnie. Cheers. Oh, bit more breakfast, I think. So, what's my plan for today? Well, I think I've got two things to do. One is, in fact, let me go and grab it. Hang on. Let me go and grab what I'm doing. Bear with me. Back in a second. Right. Hopefully you can hear me. This is a pressurized gear case filler. It looks a little bit like a fire extinguisher, and its design stems from that, and it's used to fill up gearboxes and differentials. And I only got it, I don't know, 6 months ago, because working on the ROVs was a real pain in the ass filling up the front diff and the rear final drive. It was always a bit of a palaver. For those that have watched some of the previous videos, we had Tool Girl Sam helping to do the oil change on the rear diff on Ben's Ford Courier Ute, it was. And in that video, we used like a giant metal syringe and basically pump in the gear oil, the differential oil, into the diff using that. And it leaked a bit, and it was just crap. It took ages to do, and I've been wanting to get one of these for a while. That one is really used within the marine industry, and I tried it. I've been using it the last 2 or 3 months, and changing the oil in a differential now takes me, once it's drained out, to refill it takes me no more than a minute and a half using that. Whereas the old method was messy. It would dribble, you know, I'd get spillage, and it could take me 10 minutes to make sure that the diff was full, you know, to get enough oil in there. So it's greatly improved the time to do the job, and there's no spillage, or very, very little, you know, just that little bit of an overflow, and then you can catch that with a rag and you're done. So far more controlled method of filling as well. So I'm really happy with that. So my job this morning, once I finish the live stream, is I'm going to mount, I'm going to make a little plate, a bracket, so to speak, with some checker plate on it. Very similar actually to the extension bit on the tire machine, and that's going to be mounted not to that pillar, but the one at the other end of that shelving. There's enough space there to slot it in and have it permanently, you know, not permanently mounted, but a home for it on that sort of foot, that mini shelf thing. And it just means it's one more thing off the ground, because I don't want it sat on the bench. Sometimes it does dribble a little bit if I don't release the pressure out of it, but it's an incredibly useful tool, and it will fit perfectly in that little gap. So that's one of my little jobs today. And then once that's done, I'll revert back to making some more brackets, or finishing the design of the brackets to hold the 10 tools racking on the wall, turning it into shelving basically. And that'll be my day done. And then tomorrow, it's back to my day job. I need to do a full day's admin work in the office, get caught up. And then maybe, depending on what level, if we go into level 2 and what level 2 will allow me to do, maybe on Tuesday I've got to go up to Auckland. I just don't know yet. Watch this space. Anyway, what have we got on here? Matthew McCurdy, what do you think of wire brushes for the grinders? Are we talking a bench grinder? Or are we talking a wire brush fitment on an angle grinder? Yeah, it's like those there, look, hang on. I wonder whether I keep moving stuff around. Right, bear with me, I'm back again. Oh, my bench is so small. So in fact, I'm just going to move the camera a fraction, bear with me. Hang on. All sorts going on this morning. It's all very real TV, this is. Okay. So, I have a number of automated wire brushes. I've got this style that I get from ISL Industrial, which go into my electric drill. Really, really useful for cleaning up, you know, after I've been welding on a piece of metal. If it's down in a channel, you can clean up with this. Mrs. Mechanic uses these all the time, and they're not expensive. Yeah, and you've got to wear eye protection. These things throw out the little wires every now and again. And in the past, especially with the ones on the grinder, I've been just wearing the safety glasses like these. I've had bits of wire stuck in my cheek from using these things. So you need to wear a full face mask. But these are really cool for getting into little places, and I've got quite a few of these. And they last reasonably well, and they're not expensive. On bigger jobs, I'll use one of these in the angle grinder. But recently, I got a new bench grinder. As you know, ISL Industrial sent me that nice bench grinder down, which is just at the moment still up on the shelf. I've not made a bracket to mount it where I want it to go. But I haven't even opened this yet. Bear with me. There could be some blood. Hang on. Oh my word. Oh, that's not going to work. Hang on. That might do the trick. Ooh, there's all sorts of stuff in here. Instructions. Oh, there we go. So this is a new wire brush that fits onto that bench grinder. Now, I've not had a wire brush on a bench grinder since I left England. And it's something that I've wanted to have for a long time because they're super useful. So yeah, we've got this one. And this is, because there's different types. Now then, is it a stainless steel one or is it a steel one? I think I went for a steel one because the stainless ones are really expensive. but it doesn't actually say on it, but there you go. I think it's just a steel one. Maximum RPM is 4,500, which I'm sure it's compatible for that bench grinder because, you know, they sent it with the bench grinder. And it's got the little spindle inserts to get the spindle size right. So I'll have to work that out when I come to fit it. So yeah, wire brushes, automated wire brushes, you know, rotary ones are extremely useful. And they can save you a lot of time, they really can. Now then, we'll put that one back. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Cool, okay. I really wanted to have a look at that, actually. Cool. So hopefully that's answered your question there. Don't fall off, laptop. Oh, there's been quite a few comments since I was last here. Right, so hopefully, Matthew, that's answered your question on wire brushes for the grinders. Now then, Mikhail Brito. Hey, Andy, when will we see Tool Girl Harley again? I have to be honest, you're not going to see Tool Girl Harley back on the show. There was a time when I thought she was going to come back, and we nearly did schedule another day, but as many of you know, I do pay the Tool Girls to come down and spend a day's filming with me, because at the end of the day, that's partly their income. You know, the girls do talent, you know, they do photo shoots and modeling and that kind of stuff, and they get paid for it. And it's only fair because they are working to, you know, so I do need to pay them. But unfortunately, Harley just wanted too much money to come down and spend a day's filming. And I didn't think her heart was in it, to be honest. So I couldn't afford it. Wasn't going to happen. But the two videos that we made were great fun, and I really enjoyed that day. And, you know, the first Tool Girl. And who knows, maybe one day she might come back just for an appearance. Yeah, never say never. Mark Lindsay, cheers for that, Andy, from a warm Yorkshire. Yes, it's not freezing cold here. We did have our first night the other night where there was ice, so it definitely did freeze overnight. Richard Asperger, hello Andy, good morning Richard. I'm going to drink some more coffee before it goes cold. That's better. John Dwyer. Hi Eric, I've lost my glasses. There seems to be more yellow in your workshop than normal. Sorry, it's probably just the camera. No, I think what you're noticing is previously, up until a few weeks ago, there were still wooden beams up in the ceiling because the steel beams had been put up and they were painted. But this one was hidden from the camera in its main. You could only just see the bottom bit because there was a wooden beam almost in front of it. That wooden beam is now gone and been burnt. It's kept the house warm for a good couple of nights. And as of all the other wooden beams on this side of the workshop and that side have all been cut out, all the steelwork's now finished. And the lights, the light units are all in the right places now. I just need to take out the fluorescent tubes and all the electrics relating to do that. Oh, we had a glitch. We had one glitch at 1 hour 53. I wasn't back going. Hopefully it won't die again. But I am going to be fitting some different LED light units into those casings. But that's expensive, and I'm still doing my research at the moment, trying to find just the right LED lights with the correct drivers for filming and the lights of the correct what do they call it, Kelvin rating, because I don't want really white bright light, which is perfect for a workshop but not so good for filming. You know, I tend to look half pasty all the time, and the Tool Girls don't like that. They get really upset. Now then, Stoics Gerbo, the time machine sounds like a time machine. Perhaps my bad hearing. Sorry, tire machine. Isaac, hello. I have a Suzuki LT80 that won't start. Is sparking, but the thing just won't start. Okay, LT80 is a 2-stroke electric start. Ben used to have one. I'm sure that's the right bike, LT80. Okay, now we had a problem with Ben's. I think it was the reed valve on it got jammed open with a bit of a stick that got past maybe the air filter fell off and for some reason some crap got in there. Pretty sure they have a reed valve on them. But also check your crank seals. That's a common reason for non-starting on a two-stroke, is one of the crank seals is leaking air, and of course it's sucking air in, leans the mixture off. So do check that. Right, if it's your reed valve, then you'll be able to feel, when you're cranking it over, you'll be able to feel air pulsing back out of the carb against your hand. Air should only really be going into the carb. It shouldn't then be coming back out again. So if it is coming back out, potentially you've got a reed valve problem. Right then. Right. Simon, the grinder wire brushes leave you look. What's he saying? Hang on. The grinder wire brushes leave you looking like a hedgehog. Yeah. Isaac, does anyone have any ideas? Isaac, yes. Well, there you go. I'll give you my idea. That's where I'd start. Make sure you've got fuel supply, obviously, all the basic stuff. You've got a spark, but is there fuel in the float bowl, you know? If you're just momentarily, I don't know, you could maybe just put your hand over the carb a little bit, just crank it over and then pull your hand away. Maybe the cold start system's not working on the carb, so it's not enriched in the mixture for cold start. Yes, do check your compression, but two strokes can usually start up with pretty low compression. I'd be more inclined to go after the crankshaft seals, and like I said, check the reed valve as well. Depends on how old the bike is as well. You know, age of the bike, previous history of how it was used, what it's done, how much work it's done will be useful. The one civil man, clean the carb, potentially. There's loads of things that can stop an engine from running, especially a two-stroke. Isaac, I recently got a new carb. Okay, the plot thickens. I don't know about the fuel though. Okay, so you got a new carb. Do you know if the carb's been set up right? Bob, wire wheel on a bench grinder is excellent for cleaning bolts and parts. It is. I remember back in the UK, I used to sometimes get my fingers caught in the wire wheel. It would take the end of my skin off from my finger. The Backwoods Mechanic. Hello from Kentucky, USA. We've had quite a few people from Kentucky today. This is great. So good morning, the Blackwoods Mechanic. Great to have you on board. We've got 49 viewers and 51 likes. That's great. And we're an hour and 57 minutes in. Honestly, you'd think a 2-hour live stream is way too long, but the time just flies, doesn't it? John Anderson, US $5. Cheers, matey. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's not often that I get any, what do they call them? Super chat. It's not often I get a super chat. But no, really, really appreciate that, John. Thank you very much. And I will put that to good use around the workshop somewhere and guarantee that. It won't be a pint. I'll spend it on something that I need for the workshop. And then you'll be able to see that. What else have we got here? Look, just reading back again. I don't know about fuel though. Well, just check, just turn the fuel tap on. I think on that particular quad bike, they have a vacuum feed to the fuel tap. So you'll need to maybe put the fuel tap into the prime position to fill the float bowl up with fuel. And you can just undo the drain screw on the carb just to make sure that fuel is actually in the carb. That's an important part of doing your diagnosis. Just check the basics first. Don't go straight in after crank seals. Just check the basics. Is the spark plug getting wet when you're cranking it over? Is it drawing air fuel mixture in? Can you recommend? Oh, sorry, Stokes Gerger. Can you recommend a good tough paint for metal parts? Well, back in the UK, I used to use Hammerite quite a bit, but that really isn't quite so. I found it never really hardened up properly. It was always a little bit tacky, was the paint. I remember building a few trailers over there and using that to paint them. You're probably better off, I think, like I did with these beams, is just go down to your local paint specialist. I use Wire Hour Paints in Albany. Sorry, Glenfield. Wire Hour Paints in Glenfield, just north of Auckland. I tell them what colour I want, what I'm going to be using it for, and they'll mix me up whatever I want. They'll give me some thinners, they'll give me a primer, and they'll give me the paint. And it's brilliant. It really is. Industrial paint is far better than what you can get from your local B&Q if you're in England, or Mitre 10 or Halfords and stuff. These beams are sprayed. I have a spray gun. I sprayed them, and I did a couple of coats of primer, a couple of coats of top coat, and they came out really, really well. You tend to find that paint out of most aerosols is very thin, and actually can get quite expensive if you've got a bit to do. So you're a lot better off with a spray gun. You can also get the same paint you can brush on as well if you want to. If the brush lines aren't an issue, if it's for a chassis or something, then you can just brush it on, and you'll get a much thicker coverage of brushing it on. Now then, Lepsudo Alacon. Hi Andy from sunny Dunedin. Dunedin, good man. Looking forward for level 2 to get back four-wheel driving in central Otago. Do you still go on the trails? Four-wheel driving, no, I haven't done any four-wheel driving for quite some time. I do get out and about with my job. I have to ride ATVs and drive ROVs for diagnostic reasons. I'm doing field studies and stuff. Plus we do events and that kind of thing. I was down in, where the hell were we? I was down south on the North Island, Masterton, that was it. And we did a Federation of Farmers Day where I was doing some training, safe riding practice on ATVs and operated. Well, I did the ATVs, somebody else did the ROVs. And it was a great day, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I do get to go out and do that kind of stuff. My old Nissan Patrol is a little bit too old now for going on the road. It hasn't got a warrant of fitness, and it's getting quite rusty. I do drive it every day away from the workshop and into the garden and back again. But it's going to need a hell of a lot of work to get back on the road. And at the moment, I have a Ford Ranger, which I as a company car, so I don't really need to do anything with the Patrol at the moment. But I'll never get rid of it. It's a phenomenal machine, it really is. Isaac, thanks a lot from Shetland, Scotland. Wow, Shetland Islands, good man. That is really good to have you on board, Isaac, and I'm pleased that the internet is working all the way over there because you're in the middle of nowhere. The one Silverman, sorry. Andy, I have to go. Bye. I meant bye. All right, one Silverman. Look, you've been here for over 2 hours. You're a good man. I really appreciate you joining in on the live stream. And who knows, maybe I'll catch up with you next Sunday. I'll be here. Maybe you will be too. Take care and stay safe. Simon, the one Silverman, KISS Diagnostic, keep it simple. Good man. KISS Diagnostic. What are you on about? Matthew McCurdy, there are some tubes you can replace straight. Yes, you can, but we can't get them here in New Zealand anymore, and they're extremely expensive for what they are. I'd much rather just rip everything out. I want to keep the casings. I really like the casings because they protect the lights. They're quite strong, and I've hit them with bits of angle iron and all sorts when I've been doing fabrication work. So I want to keep the casings. The wiring will get redone when I fit the new lights. But it's all about the drivers with LEDs. In fact, I can probably show you. I'll just turn this round. Hang on. This is an LED. There you see, you've got the flicker. So that is an LED light at the back, and you get tremendous flicker, which is really bad. There we go. Which is really, really bad on camera sometimes. So that's all to do with the driver, the frequency output of the driver on the LED light, not the light LED itself. So I need to search the correct drivers and also the correct Kelvin rating of the light itself. So it's not too white. We're going to go for more of a warm light for the ones that are on the walls facing in, so that I don't look too pasty. Not that I'm being vain, it's more for the tool girls, to be honest. Plus it tends to improve the color a bit of the videos because the camera is reacting to all this really bright white light, and other areas of the photography get dark. A lot of work, I must admit, but I will get there, and I have to get it. I only get one chance to get it right, so I'm going to buy a single light, test it, and then when I'm happy with it, then I'll refit the whole workshop with the lights that I need. But saying that, you know, I'm picking at straws now because for years these lights have done the trick, you know. Now then, Simon, Kiss Diagnostic 90. Okay, I'll have to Google that. I've not heard of that before, Simon. Sorry. Now then, oh, hang on. Yes, Joe Mikos. Hello, Andy. Just a mention of appreciation for the time you put in to turn out the great videos. I have health limitations and can't wrench much these days, so I enjoy being vicarious while watching. That's all right, mate. No problem. Simon, percentage of the time it is a simple fault. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a simple fault. Yeah. Wayne Campbell, I have to go, Andy. Keep up the good work, my friend, and stay safe. Cheers, Wayne. Thank you for being on board. Great to have you here. Really appreciate it. Stutz Gerber, $5. What a man. Save it for your Suzuki SJ 410 or 413. I will put it in the Suzuki fund. I will definitely do that. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Right, last cigarette before I die. Clive 7 Green. Hi, just started viewing your channel. Had the heads up from Eric O, SMA. Oh, good man, Eric. I do appreciate the shout outs. I haven't spoken with Eric for quite some time, and I sincerely hope he's well and his family's doing okay. I did see some posts on Facebook of his new workshop layout and the new 4-poster hoist that he's got put in for wheel alignments and stuff. The guy does a fantastic job on YouTube. He provides me an awful lot of motivation for me to do what I do. I respect the chap very, very much. He does a fantastic job. Love his videos, and I watch pretty much all of them, to be honest. A great guy, and if you've not seen Eric at South Main Auto before, do check his channel out because he's really cool. Brandon Matskowitz, will you be doing a video on the light wiring when you swap out the LEDs? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's such a big project. I'm going to have to bring you along because I won't be doing much other spannering. I'm getting notifications going on now. Look, what the hell? On vehicles, I'll be busy doing that, but I'll probably get most of it done over a weekend. It's not a massive job, stripping the lights out and fitting them, but I've got to get the right light units first. There's probably more research work time-wise going in than actually doing the job itself. But I also have for the wiring for the inside of the workshop, we're going to be putting in some of those wire channels, like you see in commercial buildings, where the wires they just lay in a tray and go around the workshop, because that way it's a lot easier to keep moving stuff around. Because the workshop's still settling down, I'm trying to put things to get the ergonomics of the workshop just right for what I do. For example, having power sockets up in the ceiling where you can have your cable just dangle straight down is much better than having cables lying around on the floor. It's a lot safer, I find. So again, Stokes Gerber, thank you very much for that $5. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Is dollars at your end? I sent GBP. Yeah, it converts it across to I think it shows it in US, and then on the screen here it shows me a value in New Zealand dollars. It's a bit confusing, but I do really appreciate it. Thank you. Right, John Dwyer. Yes, his wife, Mrs. O, and the children are good. That's great to hear. Thank you. I do sometimes chat with Eric, and I sent him an email not so long ago, but he's just so busy. He doesn't have time to get back to everybody, and I fully understand that. Isaac, also, do you know about the belt for the starter motor for the LT80? The belt for the starter motor? No, the starter motor is directly gear driven. I've changed the starter motor on one of those, which involved actually loosening the whole engine off in the frame because it was really hard to get out. I don't think it has a belt. I really don't. It'll have a one-way clutch, but it won't have a belt. I'm sure of it. Do you mean the drive belt in the CVT drive? We never had to touch that, to be honest. Again, if it's done lots of work, then you should be going in there and servicing it at least. But if your starter motor is not engaging properly, but it is spinning up, then it's probably a one-way clutch that's slipping. The little sprag clutch in there, so you'll have to check that out. Up and coming videos for the next week. I really don't know at the moment because I don't know how much time I'm going to have available. I'm still going to be working on the fabrication side of the workshop, and I really, to make any more videos on the fabrication it just takes too much time. I'm sorry about that for those that enjoy the fabrication stuff. Who knows? I have a couple of plans. One video that I've got planned is I have an old Bosch 240 volt mains powered electric drill. Oh, hang on. I'll come back to that. Spins up but not engaging. Yeah, most likely your sprag clutch has failed. So you'll have to, it'll be behind the flywheel most likely. So you'll have to dig into that. You'll need a flywheel puller to gain access. Now this Bosch drill, it's the only drill I have that's got the masonry impact setting on it. And I was drilling some holes in actually to put the conduit up for the distribution box, and it was quite late at night, and I had the roller door up, and I could see when I was using the trigger and firing the drill up that there was huge amounts of sparks going on inside the drill, to the point where I thought, hang on, that's just not right, that's not safe to use. So I just used my normal drill, and it did the job. Fortunately, it took a bit longer, but it did do the job with the masonry bit, obviously. So I'm going to do a video on investigating what the problem with that is. We're not going to fix it. What we are going to do is I'm going to come up with a jig, probably involving the lathe. We're going to fire the drill up under load until it actually fails, and we're going to film the fail and how dangerous it really is to keep using a drill with that problem. And then it'll go in the bin. I won't be fixing it. I'll be buying a nice new one, probably a Makita, but it'll be a mains powered one, because when you're drilling concrete, it uses a lot of current. And you know, sometimes I have some pretty big holes to drill, so a mains powered one would be better for me. Right. Right. Isaac, yes. Okay. Jim Haynes, these are great chats for everybody. And when things get back to semi-normal, we need to have some more. Yes. My plan is to do a live stream every Sunday morning. That's New Zealand time, Sunday morning, and starts around about 9 a.m. If I sleep in, it might be a little bit late. If I'm up early, it might be a little bit earlier. But I'll do my best to try and stay around the 9 o'clock mark. Graham McClucky, good morning. Did you get a trim? I didn't get a hair trim, but I did trim my beard a little bit because I was starting to eat the hairs off my moustache, which was, I don't like that. That's really not really, when you get a hair in your mouth, horrible. Well, Graham, we're at 2 hours and 12 minutes, and I think the record live stream is 2 hours 15, so we might hang in for another 5 minutes and beat that record. So we were just discussing about future videos, what I've got coming up in the very near future, and one of them is that Bosch drill. I'm quite excited to see that fail, and then we'll pull it apart and see the internal damage. I was quite concerned the night I was using it that I might have got a shock off trying to use it. I remember using a grinder a while ago that blew up on me, and that was quite a scary occurrence, because we're on 240 volt AC here in New Zealand and in the UK. And when those things go up, they go up really well. Yes, I imagine it probably is worn out brushes, John. I'm sure you're right there, but I want to see it fail completely, whilst under maximum load as well. So I thought if I mount the drill on some kind of a clamp system, and then clamp it down to the bed of the lathe with the chuck in alignment to the lathe's chuck, and then just put a steel rod between the two, then I can have it turning the lathe over with the lathe turned off, have it spinning the lathe chuck. There'll be quite a lot of drag on that, and that should put it under a very heavy load, and it should fail pretty quickly, I reckon. That's the plan. I've still yet to do all the mechanics behind it to build the jig, but maybe next week. That's the plan. So there's a bit of work goes into making that video before I can actually film it. Now then, that was the last cigarette, so we're getting close. Duke of the Dales, gotta go, Andy. Thanks so much for a great live chat, and cheers all. Cheers, Duke of the Dales. Thank you for being on board. It's great to have you here. We've got 37 viewers, so we are dropping off a little bit now. People are getting a bit bored. And 56 likes. So time for a cold coffee. Semi-warm. It's not too bad. Okay, crew. I think we're gonna sign off at this point in time. If you've got any more, is the drill not double insulation? It is. It is double insulation, but you know, when you're getting sparks flying out through the little vent holes around the brush area, I know I like to do dangerous stuff, but at that point in time, I was tired and I just didn't want to risk destroying the drill. I thought, oh, I'll save this because I know it's about to fail. I'll save this and we'll do it to camera. So chances are, Sam and I would have been okay, but I just wanted to be on the safe side, to be honest, and also, you know, save it for a video for you. I look forward to that, Andy. Yes, me too, John. It should be an interesting little video. And really, just a warning. The underlying theme of that video is a warning to people that are using mains power tools, that if they experience that arcing inside the sparks, then they should really stop using it. It's not the tool's no longer in a suitable condition to continue using, and you may well cause more damage. So, better to get your tool serviced, get some new brushes fitted, than completely destroy it, basically. When will you do another live stream, Isaac? Okay, Isaac, I'll be doing another live stream next Sunday morning. Every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. New Zealand time will be live stream Sunday. And I'm going to keep doing that for as long as I possibly can. There might be the odd Sunday that I can't do it because I'm working away, where we may have to do it on the Saturday, or there may not be one at all. But I'm really putting a lot of effort in now to do these live streams, and I do thoroughly enjoy them. I look forward to your comments and your questions, and it gives me an opportunity to engage with the viewers, and that's something which I can't really do very well on pre-recorded videos. Sure, I can answer the comments afterwards, but a live stream has a very different feel about it. It's live, let's face it. I'm here right now talking to you, which is great. John Anderson, cheers. Cheers, John. Time for some more lukewarm coffee. Isaac, I'm going to make a video of my quad. Have a look at it and try and see what's going on if you can. Sure, Isaac, send me a link to that video on an email, please, and then I can have a watch. Stotzgerber, there you go. Please do the next earlier. In the UK, it's 6 minutes past midnight. Earlier, jeez. Okay, well, I might be able to do 8:30. I'm sure it'll go on for even longer, so I'll try and fire up the camera and get the live stream running a little bit earlier for you. My apologies, it's so late over there. Fortunately, in the UK, it's going to be Saturday night, isn't it? So at least you can have a bit of a sleep in on Sunday morning. Ross Croucher, are you planning another adventure on the WR? I only pushed it out of the workshop this morning, and Mrs. Mechanic said, all you ever do with that bike, Andy, is you push the bike around. You haven't ridden it for ages. The bike needs new fork seals. I've got everything in stock, not had time to do it, and I've got a new air filter to go on it, and it needs an oil change. Once that's done, and a new front tire to go on as well. I'll do that when I do the fork seals. It's good to go. It's ready to ride, and my plan is, once things return to normal, I really do want to go and do a trail ride on it. I do. It'll be awesome fun, and I haven't ridden off-road for quite some time on my own bikes. I did ride a few farm bikes around down at the Federation of Farmers event, but it's not quite the same as doing a trail ride. And I love the trail rides. And I know quite a few people in the motorcycle industry that go and do those trail rides, so it'd be great to catch up with them as well. And who knows, I might even film most of it for you, if I can. I'll have to get some kind of permission to do that from my employer. Yes, no problem at all. Yep, I'll try and do it a little bit earlier for you next week. Okay, crew, be quick on your questions because I'm going to sign off very shortly if you want anything else answered. Ross Croucher, love the South Island adventure you did. I did, and that series still isn't finished because I did that ride just before I started work with my current employer, and I think there's probably 2 more episodes still in the can. The last episode, we're actually riding or trying to get the bikes across a river that's about 3.5 feet deep. It's well over waist height. And it was quite an event. The last track we did took us a whole day to get everybody out. And it will be a fantastic finale to that series. And I've still got all the rushes, and I do watch them now and again. And I really want to get into editing it up and get it out there. But again, unfortunately, it's got the brand of vehicle in it that I'm not allowed to put videos on the channel. But I might have to try and obtain some kind of special permission to be able to put that one out and at least finish that series off, because even though it's not that popular, it's a bloody good series. and I had a lot of fun riding that bike. It was very cool. Okay, John, it's 7 minutes past 12 at night here, and I'm off to bed. Bye, Andy. Thanks for all you do. Keep safe. Thanks, John. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you next weekend, hopefully. Simon, so you get a hard time about not going out on your bike, lol. I do. I actually do. I've got loads of motorbikes here. I've got a almost brand new TW200, awesome little bike with a big fat chunky tires, and I've only done 200 miles on it. It's sacrilege, it really is. Isaac, thanks. Keep up the great job. Cheers. Thank you, Isaac. Appreciate the chat as well. George, thank you, Andy. Looking forward to the drill video. Should be interesting. Cheers. Yes, I will definitely put that on the cardboard list of videos to do. Jim Haynes, what brand of vehicle do you work for that you cannot show? Yamaha. I work for Yamaha Motor New Zealand, and I can't put any videos on the channel with Yamaha product. I can't even have a can of Yamalube chain oil on the shelf. Nothing. As far as my videos are concerned, physically, I can talk about Yamaha in general, not specifics. That's it. Otherwise, I'd be in breach of contract. So my apologies. I'd love to bring you the videos, but I'm just not allowed to do that. And I'm not going to rock the boat. I enjoy working for that company way too much to rock the boat. Right. Car Guy 72. Hi, Andy. You caught us on the last few minutes. Cheers, Car Guy. Simon, is there an age limit on the Yams? Anything Yamaha. Now, obviously, there's quite a lot of videos already on the channel. I uploaded and made those videos way before I started my current job. And we agreed that those could stay, which is great. I really didn't want to start pulling them off the channel because I thought that was quite unfair. Well, there we go. Simon's was the last question by the looks of it. I'm just going to keep my eye on the screen for a second. I'll finish off one of my little raspberry bun things. Wow. Ooh, I found another cigarette. Jeez. Okay. Todd Ector, stay safe. You too, Todd. Don't forget, still, even though New Zealand appears to be very much recovering from the current pandemic, many countries, as you will well know where you are still struggling tremendously with the pandemic around the world. So please do stay safe. Try and minimize your contact with people, physical contact. And if you do have to engage, and they're not people that are within your bubble, as we call it in New Zealand, just keep your distance. It's so easy to end up being very close to somebody. And, you've got to keep yourself safe and keep them safe as well, because we've got to stamp this virus out. It's getting out of hand. I mean, the US, I was looking at the figures the other day, and the US is just being smashed by it. It really is. So my thoughts go out to all of you over in the US, and the UK as well. They've had a real bad time, the whole of Europe, in all honesty. Stay safe and look after yourselves. And, if you don't have to go somewhere, don't have to go out, if it's not a necessity, just don't do it. It's not worth the hassle. Stoics Gerber, just cover the Yamaha logo with a Suzuki sticker, lol. That's not going to work. I did think of that. It really isn't going to work. Sorry. Robert Hickey. So what if you had one of their guitars or a piano? Well, I don't play a musical instrument, but the same thing would apply, unfortunately. It's just completely banned from the channel. And I think it's fine to talk about it so that the viewers understand the situation that I'm in. But, to actually go into any specifics, it just can't happen. It really can't. I'm not prepared to take the risk. Things might change in the future. I need to maybe have another chat. Jim Haynes, just another bad export from China. No, Yamaha's not come out of China. Yamaha has come out of Japan. Most of them do, anyway. Stokes Gibber, see you next time, Andy. Bye. See you, matey. Thank you again for your super chat. Really, really appreciate that. Simon, London has been hit bad. The rest of the UK is not as bad. Well, hopefully it's just going to stay within London then. I mean, there's what, 29,000 deaths over in the UK, or 30,000 deaths? The last time I looked, it was a few days ago. That's still pretty substantial, and my thoughts go out to everybody in the UK. It's probably, you know, I'm very pleased that I came to New Zealand given this current situation, because over here although we've been affected by it, we haven't been that badly affected. So, you know, just luck of the draw, I suppose. Mikhail Brito, stay safe, my friend. You too, Mikhail. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Jim Haynes, the virus is another bad export, not Yamaha. Yes, sorry. I have my mind on the other stuff. Yes, you're quite right. There's a lot of conspiracy theories going around at the moment about that virus. I'm not going to get into all of that. A lot of it's just hearsay, I think, and the media trying to spin it up, as they always do. The bottom line is, it's here with us now. We've got to stamp it out. Do the best you can to help your country, you know, end of the day. George, a new live record. Oh man, 2 hours and 26 minutes. This is ridiculous. I really have to get some work done now, honestly. I'll finish this cigarette and then we'll sign off. Oh, that coffee is now cold. Okay, any last questions before we go? I'll give you a minute. You've done really well this morning, keeping me busy answering all your questions, and I did manage to catch up, which is great. John, just under 32,000 in the UK as a whole. Man, that's just horrific. It really is. It's very sad, actually. It really is. I mean, New Zealand potentially could have been a lot worse than what we've had it. I think we've come out of it pretty unscathed. I think we've had 22 deaths in New Zealand, which is not many at all. And I think the majority of those were from an old people's home where the virus got in, and it just killed off so many of them. It was very, very sad. Matthew McCurdy, do you have jambons in New Zealand? Are those the marshmallow things, like a dome with marshmallow and jam and a bit of a biscuit in the bottom? Tuddock's tea cakes, we call those. Yes, we can get those if that's what you're talking about. We can get those on the English aisle. Car Guy 72, have a great day. Catch you next time. I look forward to it. Thank you, Car Guy 72. Yes, I'm going to crack on and try and get some work done in the workshop today, because it'll only be a half day today. It's Sunday. I try to finish a little bit early if I can as well, just to have a little bit of time with Mrs. Mechanic before she gets too upset. Matthew McCurdy. Oh, totally, completely different to what I thought. Ham and cheese in a pastry. Yeah, we can get ham and cheese pastries. Yeah, we can get those from the dairies and the bakeries. Jim Haynes, what can you not get in New Zealand you really want or need? I tell you now, it's not something you can send across. We used to go to a baker's. Oh, what was it called? Thomas the Baker's in England. I'm not sure if they're still running or not, to be honest. Thomas the Baker's sausage rolls. They are the best. And there are any sausage rolls in New Zealand that taste anything like it, to be honest. They put all sorts of other fillings in them. Thomas the Baker's sausage rolls and the flapjack that they did as well. That was bloody awesome. Honestly, kill for that right now. But no, New Zealand's not bad. We can get quite a lot of, international foods here now. It's not cheap, I must admit, and it's more of a treat than anything else. You wouldn't buy it every day, but I don't do it too badly, to be honest. Mrs. Mechanic cooks some pretty good meals, and she does cook English-type meals as well, which is good. Simon, must be strange going into a supermarket and seeing an English aisle. It is, but and when we first came here, it was a bit of a rarity. I think New World did it, and that was about it. But now all the main supermarkets have an English aisle, or an international aisle, so you can get English stuff, you can get Chinese stuff, all that kind of thing. Because let's face it, New Zealand is full of different nationalities now. Well, I think Simon is our last comment. And we're just about to click over 2.5 hours, which is ridiculous for a live stream. Thank you again, all those that sent through the super chats. I really, really appreciate those donations, and the pennies that you sent across will be put to great use in the workshop. It does help. My income level has significantly dropped in the last few weeks due to the lockdown problem. There's no more, outwork coming in. There's no servicing of ROVs. There's no machining work coming in. It's just my basic salary and what the patrons send over every month, which is great. And obviously what YouTube brings in, but I do spend more on the channel than what the channel earns, that's for sure. Okay, crew, well, that really is it. We've hit 2.5 hours, new record for a live stream. Look out, keep your eyes posted for the next video coming up. It's probably going to be that drill exploding in the lathe, no doubt. And well, stay safe, and I'll see you all next Sunday. And I'm going to try and go for 8:30 a.m. New Zealand time on the Sunday, which is probably Saturday for most people. Okay, crew, I'm going to press that cross mark in the screen. See you around. Cheers. Over and out.